Welcome back, everyone. It's PUBG Esports time. It's all the time for PUBG Esports time, Blank. Why? Because we've got PGS on, but we are back in the PEC Cup. It's week number 3. I'm Mark Powers, and said I'm joined by the amazing Blank. It's been a lot of esports. But we need to close this week out, and there are some top contenders, though. They're in the lobby tonight.
Yeah, you know, we've been up since 3 a.m. You know, we sleep for 2 hours, then we're back on PUBG again. It's a classic. I do feel for the production team who's running this right now, they're just running it back right now.
I think it's like one at a time. It's like we've got a new production person every single time, and they're full asleep. Right, next one in, tag, because we have non-stop PUBG. I love it. I'm here to be. And look, obviously, as I said before, we are in the Cup Series, guys. So this is for PEC Spring. Let's just remind everyone, how did we get here? Why do we keep showing up on a Saturday and what enough to be on here? Well, it's the spring formats, and we're locked in for 5 amazing weeks. We've done week 1, we've done week 2, which means for the Cup leaderboard, we already have some points on the boards. And as I mentioned, we are now on week number 3. And Blank, the final week, actually, arguably, before we kind of see this kind of winner or this guaranteed through to the next stage.
It feels like we talked about it quite a few times in this pre-show, but it's coming. It is actually here next week. You know, it's on its way. You know, Royal Mail, they could deliver it, they could not. Depends on. I mean, recently they've been a bit bad, but here's our point system right now. Every kill will score you 1 point, and then I think everyone is very familiar in chat with how this works. 10 points for a chicken dinner, and we're dropping points from there to 6th to 5th. But right now, there's a lot of weirdness in terms of the weekly cups, in terms of teams actually not really going for a lot of placement points and earning a ton of kill points. But it is still those teams that are most consistent towards the top, like Construction Workers, like Team Nemesis, who will be joining us again, who are doing the best.
Yes, we're kind of getting our household names. So we'll stay there for a second, but and I think this graphic, that there's going to be a point where we might move some of these household names to the top, right? Because we do have the likes of Team Nemesis, which are a weekly contender here. Joga Benito, we've had hit and miss from them. Let's be completely honest. Last week was not the strongest for me, but definitely was the first week. So I think they might have had to figure it out. And a Blank actually coming through the scrims this week. So obviously, for those that don't know, you start on Monday and it goes half lob, and you kind of work your way down into this final point here, and we take our top 16 teams for everyone that signed up. Joga Benito had a tough time this week, and I think that's a reflection of what we saw in the cup last week. Now they've got a lot of points on the board. We can see them sitting up here at 86, but for the likes of Construction Workers, it's a polar opposite. They're losing momentum. Construction Workers are gaining momentum,
and that's typically going to happen, especially if you're like more, let's say, veteran teams that kind of can go through these cups, go through these scrims, get used to what teams they're playing against, how they want to play against them, and then iterate, adapt on top of that. For Joga Benito, they just came in and they were just like the juggernaut going through walls. Those walls are getting thicker and thicker as the weeks go on, and feels like we're getting to concussion territory soon.
Yes, 100%. And to add to that, to the blow, should we say, some of these teams who didn't make it last week have found themselves back in here. So they were unfortunately sitting aside and waiting. Now we've got obviously like Baldini, which is now coming back in. They're looking to try and work their way up this leaderboard. This cup leaderboard, guys and girls, is that this will be consistent over the 5 weeks. And you're going to see teams add to their points. You're going to see some new teams work their way in. But the idea being is we're going to take the top 9 teams, obviously, at the end of it. We did mention before, though, at the very, very end, that week number 4 and week number 5, if you do win that cup, so obviously this time next week our winner will be finding themselves with a guaranteed ticket through to the playoffs. That will take their points off of the leaderboard, and we will either see a random team go through, or we're going to see maybe one of these top teams like Construction Workers, like Nemesis, like Joga Benito, maybe moving that sort of bar a little bit lower down, allowing more teams in.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how it works, right? Because Construction Workers and Team Nemesis put in a gargantuan effort so far for them just to qualify next week. I don't want to say it's anticlimactic, but yeah, it's going to open things up for other teams, because suddenly that points vacuum at the tops just doesn't matter anymore, realistically.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see how Team Nemesis and Construction Workers play after that, because suddenly, and this doesn't happen very often, it really doesn't happen very often. Every time people talk about it, I'm like, I don't think so. But hot dropping now becomes a real potential, right? You know, playing off the back of other teams, because you have nothing to lose anymore, right? And you can spend your time getting rid of teams that play in your area of the map that might mess up with your rotations, or maybe one team that's mortared you a little bit too often. You can go for those teams as well.
the opening, the opportunity is what you're saying. The agent of chaos, the blankets. That's why you're here, mate. We're here. We're teamed up to cause some utter chaos. But you are right. You have such a good point, because I'm really intrigued actually when we come to kind of next week and the week after. I know they're going to be more exciting. Not like today's not going to be exciting, but we do have that additional factor that actually a winner can be. And I'd argue to say Jogger Benito, Construction Workers, and Team Nemesis, just sticking with those three at the moment, they've already qualified. So what do they do? Do they cruise? Do they hot drop? Do they try new things? Because again, they are working their way through. Maybe they don't even show up. Maybe they don't even sign up for scrims. Highly unlike that with those, because they are hyper competitive, those teams. But if they don't get through, they've got breathing room. They're going to qualify anyway. So they actually, you're right, can do anything they want to do when it comes down to the lobby.
Yeah, no, that's pretty terrifying. I think for Construction Workers and Team Nemesis, I think teams don't have to worry about that as much, just because they play a pretty even game. They're very focused on their late game. I think Jogger Benito may be the team that you want to watch out for. It can just like give you a Hello Kitty moment and just completely annihilate you in every single match. And that's the one thing I do worry about. But if we do get one of those teams up towards the top getting through, it's going to open up places underneath. Then we're letting 10th place go through. Then we get another winner at the top, we're letting 11th place through, so on and so forth. So I do think that that's a nice thing to have. And for some of these teams towards the bottom of the table, they're almost praying for these teams to do really well in week 4 and week 5. Before we get there, we do have to play out week 3, which is happening right now. And like you talk about, I think it's a good thing to bring up is the Jogger Benito. I think that they have been losing steam as the games have gone on.
I think they have. Let's talk about some teams that have been growing in momentum. Positive. Definitely in confidence, I feel is going to be a key. And one of them is No Slack for me. We've seen them kind of competing and they've already made their way through. They have some points on the board already. But when I looked at this team this week, they're oozing with confidence now. They're happy to take fights. They're happy to consolidate. They're happy to spread out. And they're starting to find their way. Yes, they've had a few hiccups along the way. But when you look at the performance that we've seen from Scav, when we looked at Sata, these guys are really, really strong. And then you just back up with Cova and IXE. Like, this team, for me, is one I would expect to be in the qualifiers, one that would be looking to go over towards the playoffs. And they're a team which years before have been on those cutoff lines and haven't always made it in. So it's nice to see that. I just hope and pray that we're coming to that midway point now, that they continue that kind of shift, that momentum, that confidence build that they've got.
Yeah, I think for No Slack, it's a weird one right now because they make it through a lot of the mid games towards that late game, but I do think they get shown up quite a few times by some of these other squads in those late games. I think as a potential as a 4-man, very good, very, very nice. But I think there is that caveat to throw in there is that, yeah, they're getting a little bit of momentum right now, but there is just a couple of things that could be done slightly better in that late game. Because I think the main characteristics, I want to be specific here, is that for No Slack, it feels like the communication falls apart, the team play falls apart as soon as like maybe one or two things goes unexpectedly for them in the late game. And I think that's where they do need to raise the bar slightly. It's the only thing that worries me about the team, because again, like I said, that early to mid game actually feels very smooth. A lot of times we don't even talk about them because like, oh, they're not making a lot of mistakes. They're not really sticking their head out the sand too much, but they're just getting things done. But yeah, it's that late game where things do start to, feel like a little bit like a Jenga tower falling down.
They are definitely one of those under the radar teams. They just suddenly pop up out of nowhere. Oh, they're here.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, they do get closed out by a couple of other teams. Let's talk about some expectations as well. A team that I had very high expectations for, has slight change up a roster and confirming things, but Starry Skies, a team coming in this week. Cappy, great guy, PNC, got to meet him there last year for Team Poland, full of energy and bubble. And I think this team with Azur and the guys have this element of confidence about them. But something's not quite worked out. And I do worry as a newer team that's kind of been merged up together and they played together quite a bit. Some of them took some time out of PUBG to go try some other games that are coming in, and they've kind of come back and they're maybe a little bit behind the curves with the TPP. So they are trying to still learn and adapt. So we will see some slight corrections in kind of, especially when they silhouette themselves. But I feel like this week they've kind of started to sort of master that. But a team, I'd have to question, we've got 3 weeks left. That's surely enough time to get enough points on the board to make sure they're above the qualifying spot.
Yeah, to get to, I think honestly it's funny as well the way that the points have lined up right now, where if you can do even just decently well in these next couple of weeks, right, or next few weeks, including this one, you're likely going to get yourself into a top spot just because you know that points vacuum's always going to be there, and it's already been here, where teams towards the bottom of that top 9, they actually don't have a huge amount of points right now. I think Yo is like towards the cusp or is in that top 9, I believe. But they don't have a lot of points at all. I think they're in the 20s at the moment. Although last week did actually look fairly good for them. A lot of end game finishes, just not enough kills. I think that's a team that I want to be watching out for this week, because I do think that they had a very interesting playstyle. But they can raise those points up. But similarly, going back to your point, Mark, very quickly, I'm sorry, I got off track slightly there.
I'm happy to go with Yo, mate. I've got loads to talk about Yo. But go on, you finish Diary Scarf, I'll come back to Yo.
I'll finish off, yeah. I do think there's plenty of chance for these teams. I think it's not doom and gloom just yet. It really isn't doom and gloom just yet.
No, I do think today is the cut-off point. I think the day is where you can put some points on the board, and as long as you have good consistency and you make sure you get back, and that's the danger, you've got to get back, right? And especially with the guys at the top that have been taking up a lot of the points, there is a void of which these teams can kind of grow into. I do want to pick up on your point and just let you guys know we're not going to have a pre-show today, because we're getting the guys in the lobby now, which is grand. But I do want to go back to Yo. Yo is an interesting team. People have referred to it as James's team, which is out there. They've gone through a series of different names, as FYI. But first week they're okay. They kind of went for the qualifiers pretty strong. They were kind of like Jogo Benito, and we saw them kind of work their way through. And then week 2 was very disjointed, it felt like. And when I spoke to the guys after, and they was like, hey, like, we completely changed things up. We're now going from an IGL position, which is going to be PWD, as a primary. James was putting that more meat on the bones. We spoke about it a lot last week, right? But it felt good. You said, like, and I agree, they looked a lot more better. This week's the same. So it looks like they're starting to find that winning formula. The only thing I worry is, do they creep back into old ways? Is there a natural habit that the IGLs might try and out-talk each other? Like, it's still too new for me, but they're in a good position to put good points on the board today.
Yeah, I think there was just some decision-making problems last week, that's all. But it's weird, because the decisions they were making, even though they were disjointed, it's like, I like that, you know? If you all went for that play, that would have been sick. If you all went for that play over there, that would also been sick. But we're kind of trying to do both at the same time. But maybe that's not the way. So I think it's just a case of those little min-max moments where James wants to do one thing, PWD wants to do something else. And it's getting lost in translation as we go. And I think that the more they work on that, though, the quicker they're going to come to terms with what they want to do. And I think making this change right now in week 2 was the right decision. I think a lot of teams would have waited till week 4 to be like, maybe we need to change something up. But by then, it's too late. This way, they have 3 weeks of, if not time to get some more points on the board, but also time to really drill down on what they want to do with this. Because I do think some of James' scouts were very nice. I like the way they played off each other. There were some moments where they were getting into circles that they had no right of getting into. So yeah, they should definitely keep going with that. I'm excited to see Go next again, because I think they've got a lot of clutch potential on that team coming back into this. Obviously, didn't qualify last week through the scrims, but this time I'm excited to see them back. Although you're wondering if maybe not qualifying in week 2 has hurt the confidence slightly. But that was a team I was quite excited to see. I think they had some cool moments there. Yeah,
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. The other big one for me, obviously a newer team coming forward, is Boars. It looks like the Exhale logo. FYI, it's not How, it's not Exhale. Hello Sampire, Hicks, Lyrics, Marcel's there. Again, a strong team. Everyone out there in chat will know these players anyway. They have a different play style. They also like to scout, like we see from the James. They like to push a player forward and maybe see if they can try and get that ridge line. It does work out for them sometimes. It doesn't always the case. And again, it's a team which is kind of toying around the edge of actually, hold on, have we figured out exactly how we want to play? Do we want to change things up? And the cups will apply more pressure. This is the final part of this week. This is the only chance, because as we finish off on game number 5, it will lock in that actually these are the points that we deliver for this week. Is it good enough for us? And this team here, I think they've got the capabilities of putting a strong day on, but they're a momentum-based team. So they're going to need a win. They're going to need a top 4. If they don't get that, I do feel like they're going to struggle to kind of work their way in. And it's kind of the same when we look at some of the other teams, like we're going to talk about TMO in a second, but some of these teams are momentum-based teams, and we're going from 6 maps to 5. I don't think everyone's kind of got their head around that yet, that they're lacking a map. They don't have that breather map yet. Every map has to be one you put points on.
Yeah, I mean, so it's a good point. I mean, 5 maps is brutal. I think it's kind of, to be honest with you, it's what we used to have way back when, really, really long time ago, before 6 maps became a little bit more standard. But yeah, 5 maps, it's really a sprint. You don't have much time to be like, let's wind down here and really figure things out, because every game is so damn important. So teams do need to get on their bike and quickly and start pedaling away, because otherwise you get left behind on the wayside. I think that for teams like TMO, because you want to bring them up, that's a team that has similar problems to NoSlack, is that you're very impressed with them at times, and then other times they're getting picked off one by one. You're kind of confused, like, where is the team going or what is the team doing? But again, I think that's what the Cups are all about, man. That the Cups are all about potential. And I think that it's kind of cool because there's a lot of teams here that have a ton of potential. I'm excited to see all of them make it through further into this year in terms of the PUBG Esports scene, which I think is very, very possible. I think there's some teams which are sort of a given. I think you would describe Team Nemesis and Construction Workers as a given couple of teams that are going to go further in this year. But it's nice to see like some old names, new names that are really, really putting the work in to make it happen here. We're kind of waiting to see exactly which teams those are going to be who can really hold the candle up to the light right now, because I think Jogo Bonito was a team that I was very excited to look at, but even they've started to fall behind now, as we've mentioned multiple times during this pre-show. But it is important to mention because that potential is starting to look less and less as time goes on.
Let's just remind everyone, though, of the teams that are competing, and we'll go back to the format again, because obviously we do have 16 teams which have worked their way through, and these are the 16 which are the best of week number 3. Obviously, as you mentioned before, and we have to highlight, there are teams obviously that haven't kind of worked their way through. And I do need to talk about TMO, right? Because watching them come through this week has been interesting. There's been a highlight. They have made a change, so Bad Boy 2K is stepping aside slightly for the guys. Now they're currently sitting up in 5th, which is okay, but they're starting to make these kind of micro changes. And one of these changes is they brought in a gentleman called Mika. Mika played for PNC Germany. He's also played for Team Ascend, plus a handful of other teams as well. A really strong contender. So they've kind of swapped out, I hate to say it this way, but a content creator which has the capabilities of being a great esports person when he applies to that, but then picking up an actual dedicated esports player as well. They've made some slight changes, so I'm interested to see obviously how that kind of works out for them. It hasn't worked for this week. They need to go back to the drawing board. It's all depending on where this cutoff is going to be when we draw the line.
It's curious you say that as well, with Bad Boy taking a step to the side, which takes a lot of gusto, honestly. And, you know, if you could say that with grace, it means a lot in terms of not only as a player, but just as a human yourself. So props to him. But I think that getting someone in like that, who's been on a fair few teams, understands how to assimilate into a squad, because you know, if you're not just coming from one team and then moving to the next, it's like that's a very different story. If you've played on multiple, that's good news, because they need someone who can fit into that team and play the exact role they need. And I think right now, in terms of fraggers, they're absolutely fine for it. I don't think they need any more. What they need more of is anchor players, support players, that can play towards those backlines and keep the rest of the team safe, because I do feel like it's a lot of those off angles that they get caught on. I need someone watching that. I think they had a lot of firepower on the team, but not quite enough shielding, and this might be the change that they need. But again, during the scrims, it is going to look a bit weird because it's a new player entirely. And you're adapting on a 5-game set. It's not easy to do.
Yeah, you don't have that game of choice to iron things out. But again, it's a difference. I want to see them obviously come back. They've got good points on the board. I do think they'll be there. Back to obviously the go next. Obviously, we need to pause that because I do think they need to really change things up, the Greek gods, to sort of deliver their way through. Anyway, enough of us waffling. Why? Because we have 5 games. We said we were out of a game. We've got time to continue waffling, Black. We need to get things ready, though. We are going to be going game number 1. It is going to be in a wrangle, and obviously one of the only maps now that is a double. The OG is the best chance to actually build up momentum. As we said, there are teams here that need to start off strong.
Yeah, for Erangel teams, definitely need to get all their points on this one. It's a weird one because you start off with a lot of momentum at the beginning of the day, and then you got to bring that momentum back towards the end of the day because it's the one you play the most of. It's the one you should be most comfortable with all these teams. And it is awkward being the last game because sometimes you might have a bad 3-game set after your first Erangel, and you're not in the right headspace for that final Erangel to bring things back online. But oftentimes this is the map where you make that miraculous recovery at the end of the day. But starting things off here, we're going to have ourselves a west to east playing path. Really no issues here for any team in particular. We've had a lot of brutal circles actually over the PEC Cup so far. A lot of them out towards the water, right at the edge of the playing path. But we'll see what happens here, because I do think that players will be quite happy with a more comfortable circle going to the start of the day. I'm predicting a central circle here, right in the middle.
I am with you on the same. As the playing path's done, dusted, move out. I think it's like a technical bit, but we will work with the production team to just get that thing sorted. So ignore the logos, guys. We've got the names. We'll tell you who's playing, so don't stress. Then they're not all there wrong. Good playing path though, straight through the center, through the heart, through the soul. Jogger Benito will take that school flat area, and the zone goes towards the top. Saverni will be the eyes in the sky. So Team Nemesis at the top there, they have the idea, the cream, the decision to make of where do they want to situate themselves now for this map, because it's all theirs.
Yeah, I mean, from what we've seen in the past, what Team Nemesis usually goes for is a quick send over towards Saverni, and then they'll typically just leave it. I think there's not been a lot of games where Team Nemesis actually wanting to play inside Saverni on a circle like this. Again, I think it's a team that's much more comfortable on the edge than the center. They understand that. They realize that. So what's the point in sticking around? So they're just going to get very looted up quickly, as fast as possible at least. There's a lot of teams littering down towards the southern coast. So they've got time. They do have a lot of time. And with the amount of teams that are actually playing in quite a few of these focal points, you are having this situation where it takes a little bit for these squads to make their way up over towards the north side. I think the only place that is actually quite free and open to rotate around is actually Yesnaya, which I always found very weird in this lobby.
Let's wait and see. Yesnaya is a place which I enjoy. Construction workers, though, they'll be down in the Milta. They take the old phase, but why not? Because they're pretty much the old phase roster, so they have the claim to the area. No one really contending this, but I do have a long rotation through. And obviously the additional pickup for the team. So again, Fex, Vard, and Gustav, the cornerstone of the construction workers. But Nalip, though, recently, especially last week, has been a strong contender, putting massive kill volume and damage towards the team. So again, I suppose the last piece of the puzzle, driving the points for the construction workers.
Yeah, it's cool because I think there's a lot of big names over on construction workers, and then Nalip's kind of outclassing quite a few of them right now, which is nice to see. I mean, not to say that he's not a big name himself, but I think for Nalip it has been very impressive. Choco Benito, I think it would not be a weekly cup without the weekly first blood being struck by Jogger Benito early on. Same team as always, Kristalny, Slaven, Simon, and Not One. These guys are very adamant on their roster so far. I think that when they get grooving, it certainly does start to look a little bit bumping for this squad. So hopefully they can keep that momentum going. But I'm not holding out hope today. I'm not holding out hope.
No, you have to second guess what they're doing.
Yeah, you do. You do. Terrifying.
Is the no tag team? Is that the new Hello Kitty? I fear. Yeah, you got to take the warning shots. Don't land too close to his team. You got to give at least arm's distance because they will push through. We spoke about no slack. Nice early rotation from them up to a very strong compound. This will have a great line of sight. They will be relying, though, blank for this zone to kind of pull back this way. And we do know with the Savernis there are multiple ways it's going to sort of lay out to. So they have made a decision that they want it to play towards the west. Hopefully they've got a game plan, but if they get the end zone, it's going to be happy for them.
Yeah, to be honest with you though, from that position, like you're saying, really good sight lines, very good as a scouting position. I think that even if you don't get circle there, you're quite comfortable to sit around there for quite a while and just take stock of what's happening around the rest of the circle so you can make a better decision later on. Ghetto Gang on their way out. Not the greatest of week twos. There was some glimmers here and there, but I think that they were more often not on the receiving end of the kills, sadly. But it is nice to see Exhal back again. It's very surprising not to see them in week 2, to be quite frank. But good to see them getting back straight into the thick of things.
it's difficult with that team. And I'm going to caveat slightly some of the circus teams. The circus style is very hit and miss sometimes. They will go hell to leather, and for somehow, some way, they always seem to qualify. When they don't qualify, it's normally by a mile. So, yes, they didn't get their way through, but they're back. They've gone hell to leather. They're back in the grind and putting points on the board. And it's just a telltale sign of how these guys play. They are the team, when you got the final game and they need so many points to get in and get qualification, you'd look for a circus team to do that.
I mean, fair enough. If it needs to happen, it needs to happen. And if they're the best at doing it, then maybe week 5 is where they need to really pull out macho weapons. Scav finds Jogo Bonito. And this is from Slack here. So we'll find a little bit more. There's even some shots from the background there. And I think this is an aggressive push coming through from Jogo Bonito that was cut off by No Slack. Really good setup, honestly, from them in terms of these ridge sides. Again, I think Jogo Bonito does take for granted areas that they can just pick up for free. I think No Slack actually finished off Erangel last week by essentially just assassinating any team that tried to get onto one of those compounds in the late game. They were very, very good at picking and choosing where they wanted to play. But Simon's not giving up just yet with the M249 straight back into the fray.
Oh. This is a big split from No Slack. They tried to conquer a lot of territory. Don't normally see this a lot. We see teams neighbouring here. Jogo Bonito, you're right. They've kind of tried and conquer. Shots will come down. No Slack do play like Jogo Bonito, and they'll make the crash. But not one, just Hexy. What a collapse down. That's put a complete spanner in the works here for No Slack as they are on the defensive side.
Yeah, weird play there. I feel like you just play behind the UAS and just give it up. Give up the tires, give up the vehicle, and just play off the back of that. It's on the broad end of a wall there. No cover to be seen. And if you do push him out there, it gives the rest of your squad a little bit of an easier time finding shots over towards him.
Oh, that's the other side. I thought that was him. I thought it was Simon. I thought, what was that? It wasn't. No tag getting involved. Third party. I forgot it's a cup. It's not just a head-to-head fight. Everyone wants to get involved. Simon, though, a little bit of a blessing, but also a curse. He doesn't know that he's got someone lurking on the balcony. Scav needs to keep his head down. He's got players coming from behind. No tag coming from the front. And unfortunately for him, he's the final player here for No Slack.
Yeah, can't afford to use any meds either for fear of giving away position. It's a rough one. It's a real rough one. So, a bit of a dream. That's a terrifying situation for him. In come the flashbangs, in come the grenades. O'Connell from No Tag Team did lose Rafa earlier to Jogo Bonito, by the way. So a little bit of revenge coming in. Made up to the top of the window. Doesn't bounce off the railings. No damage found off the back of it, though.
The Italian stallions are charging in. Here comes Macintosh. He's got the control. He's got the Panzer. He's going to take the opportunity now just to get the med, and now it becomes down to 2 solos. Both of them refusing to move. Both of them refusing to give away any information, and the Italian stallions don't need to wait. There goes the flash. They flash one. Doffy's will find Scaff, and they still don't know. Oh. The thing is, they'll be looking at that going, hold on, that's not the same team. Where's the last one?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Oh, he's flashbanged out. Blinded. Doesn't see a thing. Oh, No Tag Team will tag themselves up. 4 kills on the lobby right now. Very nicely done. Yeah, down to 3 players, but you know what? I think that's a result and a half, so... No Slack stick around a little bit too long, and a slight misplay on the UAS trying to drive it down instead of just taking the shots. I think you have to be a little bit more confident in that situation. PWD here from Yo, starting to move their way out. Kind of sandwiched at the moment between 2 squads. It's No Tag Team behind them, and I think Yo must have heard a lot of commotion on that side. Wanted to get involved, but things quieted down quickly as they rolled up.
I was surprised about IXE. 2 things, obviously. One, that you give up the car at that point, right? And you just hide behind it. But also the path he took a direct path with no cover.
Easy shots.
He could have easily come round that sort of left side, used the building, used the train, and come in on that other side. So a little bit of an early mistake. They have got another angle, but I suppose they get thankful because the zone shifts back towards the northeast. We still hold on to Severny, but we also hold on to ample amount of water in that north side. Baldini with a big 2-2 split. Team Nemesis now will collapse on towards that compound, and I think they'll be worried about actually not being able to hold on for a lot more. And Starry Sky, who's taking the single bungalow, they do catch people lurking. It's Cappy. We'll put one PWD down.
Yeah, I mean, PWD moved up. Rest of his team wasn't there to support and gets absolutely annihilated by Starry Skies, who took the initiative, moved in early. I think that, PWD had found a spot to play in. I'm not really sure why Yo was lagging behind so much there. Maybe trying to catch no tag off on their rotate out, but Starry Sky do find something. Especially with this circle, though. Props to Starry Sky for moving in as fast as they did. I think you have to on this type of circle here.
I think a lot of teams are going to look at this flank, though, as it's going to play back very aggressively towards the south because we've got to lose the water. So Starry Sky, great move from them. PWD looking for the scout, but gets caught. And then everyone else that's left is going to be running around the outside edge. Storm Request, big 2-2 split. Lucky enough here for 2-1-0. He's not going to get caught out because the rest of his team are further afield. So now he's going to come hunting him, but he's been beached. So he needs someone to pick him up, or he needs to make his way to that poke that's behind him.
Yeah, he's struggling. Very much struggling. I mean, X-Hal's going to move out on it. Absolutely. It's that vehicle. Rolls a bit too far. Forgets to put the handbrake on. Step out really quick. Smoke's going to keep him alive for now. That's about it. I'm kind of curious. I'm trying to figure out where Ghetto Gang is because they made an early rotate over Kameshki. So yeah, they are just on the eastern side of Severny. I don't mind that spot, actually. I quite like that position to play. Has some good sightlines in. Doesn't trap you in Severny proper either.
This is just a bit of a bunker down, right? And the one thing I worry, this is a great area to play historically, and it's a good area from the outside edge. But there are, thank you, observers. This is the one weakness to this area. Now, they look like they're going to go on the offensive, but when people realize there's a team lurking here, under an element of fire, Ghetto Gang will be barraged with mortar, especially from teams like Hive that are neighboring them in Severny. If they find the mortar, they will have them zeroed in. All they have to do is wait for them to start fighting or a team to crash in, because with the next shift, we'd expect someone to try and take that position away.
Yeah, and because it's such a small area, if the fight does start, that's potential 8 kills for Hive as well. The Lynx AMR inside the care package.
Yeah, 100% get that, Shane. You take Berserk in the car. Hold on, that's mine. I'm coming back.
I was going to say, like, what are we doing? Why are we leaving that? Yeah, pulls out Lynx AMR. That's going to be very useful. Anyone trying to roll up this way is going to get one to the dome. I think Hive's got a decent spot to play in now. They're kind of hoping on the western circle shift here. Baldini's playing a bit more free and loose over towards the center of the map, playing on a ridge side. They got a 2-2 split going. Don't mind that spot either. It's a bit more generalized though in terms of this game. It's a spot that's going to give you decent position, not the best position, but no matter what happens, should be okay at least.
Yeah. There's that zone shift. We do get some of the water. It does play sort of back towards that east side again, so a little bit more of a shift back towards the east. Severny is just about in. This is where the Ghetto Gang position becomes a little bit questionable, but rightfully so. They have given up. They're moving towards the petrol garage. Ziggy needs to get out there quite quickly. He's going to find himself overloaded straight away. Full crash will go in, and he gets caught. Ghetto Gang hyper aggressive, and they get rewarded with their first point.
Yeah, I think for SNK there, that is a classic case of trying to hold too much area, right? There's not a lot of compounds here. I don't think you can be playing a 1-3 split at this point in time.
Team Nemesis, though, doing the same. They've rolled in. They've lost Diffix, though. They've got to be careful. Baldini giving up their 2-2 split. Again, doing the right thing. They're collapsing themselves over towards the west. Hive getting involved. The third-party actions. They have backfilled that Ghetto Gang position as well. And so Steedo has to try and hold that res as quickly as he can. Hive will be itching to try and push up on this if any more knocks come in.
They're
using the mortar fire from Ghetto Gang.
Yeah.
Run, Team Nemesis! Run!
They can't get inside, though. They cannot get inside. And Rox will find the first over towards Melman. This is actually coming through from Hive, so they have found something. A good initial one. And they're going to hold up on the mortar fire for the time being. Also, really want to move off the back of this, though, which is kind of curious. They're just instead relying on the smoke. So the same smoke. We've done the same smoke twice there.
Hive will be gifted with a mortar, right? And they've used it, but they only had 3 shots because of 3 shots on the floor. So Ghetto Gang didn't take it. So unlucky for Hive, they hit with the last one. That could have been catastrophic for Team Nemesis. Steed has to try and work his way forward. 4 kills on the board for them. Flash will go on the outside. The utility is key in TPB, so does go on the outside. Boars though on the defensive now, as they are sort of popping any util they can on the outside.
Okay.
Now the rest has happened, hitting the nades, and I'd expect that Panther to come out for the push.
They've cleared the close angle at least, though. They know they're playing far back towards the warehouse. Well, Senpai's trying to think about how he wants to play as well, because he knows he has to reposition. Can't give the game away too much. WinX tries to rotate through a very, very open ground there. No Tank will lose another. As WinX will lose Griffith once again in this game, and that is WinX down. Yeah, I think that was an ambitious rotate. I have to be quite frank about it.
Yeah, it's difficult to live there. Very difficult to live there. So, you know, this, I suppose, the last team rolling in from the sort of southwest corner now. They're finding the opportunity to get a few more kills. Construction Worker, though, slightly more of a split approach to this. So do consolidate back on that sort of east. But Zone gives away the water. We play down towards the southeast. We find sort of Baldini, Starry Skies. They are sitting in the centre. Ouch! Fex got his tippy toes run over. No steel toe cap boots. And this construction side for him.
Yeah, it's questionable that one. Is his heart pumping in his feet there? Like, why was that so deadly? That's crazy.
Good stuff driving. We're talking about it. Drive terrible.
Oh my days. Obviously, it's an interesting circle where we do have like quite a bit of space cut off from one another. I'd say no tag as well as construction. Construction Works has got fantastic areas to play. It depends if anyone wants to try and fire off the back of them, because they have quite consistent staging and they can just slowly wrap down. Starry Sky isn't going to give them too many problems. I think that's the team that they're going to likely play off the back of. Nailup drops out and almost gets over towards Macintosh. Luckily, there is shots that comes to go help him from Vard, so someone's going to have to go pick up Nailup in the meantime. Bit of a slow roll down. Max Howell hears this. They're starting to wrap now, Mark. I'm a bit worried about this for now.
Yeah, look, a lot of teams are going to fight for this verticality, aren't they, on the east? So Gustav, I think, spraying a couple of shots just to say, hey, I'm on my 6.
Get back!
I'm watching this north side. You shall not pass. I am Gustav. But yeah, Vard's had to make the play. He's going to get nailed up. He's going to have it in just about time. And they're going to have to try and hold on to this verticality. It's a nice play from XL trying to work their way in. But it's definitely the south side. They haven't got the room. It's a downhill scope. Unfortunately, there goes the Italian Stallions. Strata Stoke will find the final one, and Doffy will fall.
Yeah, nice name from Stratos. Well, quite literally from the stratosphere as well. Up on high, 9 dark on. Storm on quest will move in, and the storm was denied, actually. With 2 players on the outside. Pozian, as well as 210, gets us back up in the position, but yeah, this is a very, very tough push now to move up. Great usage of the Doritos as well to set up a really nasty barricade here versus Storm on Quest.
So hard. They're coming so late now. Obviously, they sent a player around. They got caught by 1, so they've got a neighbour they know in that single-eyed shack. And the hill run out. They've only got the flat plateau, and Team Nemesis just right in front. It's a Nemesis you don't want in a direct line of sight of you.
Fully taken over the warehouse as well, so I think Team Nemesis actually won that fight. Yeah. Able to shift them out. But again, this is a good spot for Team Nemesis just to clear out their angles on the western side, which is great for them. I mean, you look over towards Hive here, get some shots in. If you can find yourself a knock over towards Hive now, that's likely going to be a flush, especially as they're coming out from the blue. Baldini's holding it strong, though. I think, you know, they didn't have, like I said, the crazy position on the map, but they were going to have a good one no matter what. Right now, this is really lovely at this point in time, where they can continue just to hold. There is 4 teams they're going to have to hold out against. They've got to worry about crashes coming through, third parties off the back of that, because they are going to be massive recipients. So they need to make sure they are absolutely keeping an eye over towards that western side. If they can clean up a fight before it even gets to it, even better, because they need to be prepared for a second team heading their way if things start to get a little bit messy.
I think you're right. This is going to be very dangerous. The only options I think you look at this. They're going to try and go for that, like the bottom of the valley. Depends on where they put the cars. They should be able to hold off construction workers. We can see on the map side of our stream that the construction workers are counterplaying that already. Team Nemesis might follow where Vis are going. So, and the only other option they've got is to come in here. But everyone will be looking at this position with Baldini and go, if no one else is crashing, we shouldn't, and we don't have the option, so now they have to try and go elsewhere. Team Nemesis don't play into Vis. 5 kills for them already. Stratus will send another nade out to the stratosphere, but it's going to be the Panzer that's going to put him down.
A nice shot from Nemesis here as Payne starts to move and feel some pains of himself. Honestly, he's stayed down to very low HP. Flashbang sent out. Buy him a little bit of time. That's the first aid kit. Hasn't opted to pop it just yet, but a flashbang should come over the top, completely blind him. And Stade's going to pop out, but doesn't quite find the shot off the back of that. And now can go for a re-entry.
Like Payne's a confident player as well. Here comes a shot. Doesn't need to go for the med. Construction workers, they said they repositioned to try and catch these teams coming to the valley. Vex will find Payne's down onto in a bad spot as well. Vex, though, the anchor player, the god-like behaviour from him. He's found himself too. And for Vis, though, they've been underpinned, though. Sosadine will clear it up. And that is a lifesaver. They owe Vex big time.
Oh, they do. Really well played from Team Nemesis there. And again, you got to respect Payne there. Doesn't go with the first aid kit. Knows he just has to play this one out on low HP. But his shots were fairly clean. Held his own. But like you said, they were just shifted time and time again over towards that eastern side. And that is exactly where construction workers have been looking this entire while. So a bit rough there for them. Team Nemesis able just to get ahead slightly in the midst of it all that chaos. They're very good at snaking their way into these final zones, despite everything. Storm Request still alive, by the way. Very surprising over in that warehouse. And I think Baldini, honestly, so far they've had my most favorite game at the moment. I think they've been very aware of their surroundings, making sure to take shots, keep players away from them. Next target is just going to be clearing out a little bit more of that space on that eastern side. But Starry Sky, my God, what of a freebie this one's been for them.
Still on regress, still surviving. Coming in off the blue. It's going to chunk a little bit now, but Med's on time. Baldini should be just keeping an eye on this one as well, but I do worry. He'd be looking at this like there's no cover. It's just going to take one of these teams just to look. But you're right. Baldini's played such a good game. 2-2 split. Collapsed to a 4 to that compound. Held their own and forced Team Hive north side and Vis and Team Nemesis on their south. They've just kept cool, calm and collective. And arguably, they've kind of puffed up their feathers. They've kind of peacocked a lot in this to really deny people an opportunity to win it. Oh, it's so unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, they knew that hadn't been completely cleared out. They never got the final confirmation of the players. They've been watching that way the entire time. I mean, Nemesis does not forget too often. For Starry Sky, it's going to be a hard game to lose for them. Hal finally makes that move. Panzerfaust in hand. Tries to send it out. Some kind of not there. We'll just send it directly to Hive, but it's working out. And great plays. Quick diversion as well. That's not an easy play to make, but Nail Up knows there's been carnage after carnage. But GTG also making their way in from that north side. For Hal, wow, well done. Well done indeed. I mean, for a failed Panzerfaust into a crash over towards Hive and making it work in the midst of all that, very impressive stuff.
What did I just watch? It was a failed Panzerfaust into Tokyo Drift crash to make work. How did he get out of that alive? No, not for much longer. Ghetto Gang do leapfrogging as well. So they work their way in. The verticality is now being lost on the east. The zone shift down. Starry Sky, yes. You got to look at this instantly. A top 5 at the moment. The only thing I worry about is once there's breathing room around them, they will become kind of a focal point for utility. It just depends on how much utility is remaining. Construction workers, though, have to try and hold the line as they will sing Ghetto Gang a little bit further afield.
I mean, players have to burn a lot of smoke. So if you want to assault Starry Sky's position, you sort of need to use smokes here as you descend towards that valley. And there's no two ways about it. And I think you look at construction workers at the moment, I don't think that a lot of smokes are on side right now. I feel bad for Hive, though. I think that's the type of situation where you play in your own games and suddenly out of nowhere there's a team just crashing into you for no apparent reason. And you just get burnt because of it.
Yeah. Insane. Insane. But taken full advantage of for Ghetto Gang. Both construction workers and Ghetto Gang need to kind of leave this hillside, and for Ghetto Gang, they don't have the ridge line. If they work their way down in that sort of northeast corner, they will be fully exposed towards Starry Sky. So I suppose they've got eyes on potentially playing towards construction workers. Vard and Vex been taking away the tyres of Team Nemesis, and Team Nemesis now doing the same, so they've got to apply some pressure. There goes the car. Anchor player is Var, but so Steve disciplined enough now for Team Nemesis just to back away and not expose his body.
Yeah, Var long range has been really good, saving a lot of these situations for construction workers. Very fortuitous circle shift down towards that southeast side. That's going to make the game a lot harder now for Starry Skies. They've got to start having some impact in this game, but it's very hard from the position they're in because they are locked in towards that low ground. They haven't had a whole lot of influence over the side of the map, but it's sort of that point in time where you want to start flexing out realistically. See if you can finish off Ghetto Gang and then start to sweep down towards that eastern side, towards construction workers. But it looks like Starry Skies is just going to hold it down and then wait this out a little bit longer.
As they've got the cards in their pocket. They don't need to move just yet. Construction workers take on the beast that is Team Nemesis and instantly get the information. Actually, there's teams wrapping in behind him. Gabby does find the first one, so April does go down and confirmed, and that ridge line, which was ever so strong, becomes a little bit more of a tightrope that Ghetto Gang is trying to navigate.
Aldini sweeping in from that western side, his takedown. Slade from Nemesis, leaving it just so sad as his final player on side. We'll line the first shot up towards Vex, actually, on construction workers. And another.
Does he find 10 kills? He does find 10 kills. Good game. Number one. I know it won't be a victory for them. And we are going to go from top 4 potentially to a top 3 straight away. Houdini, cool, calm, collective. 2 kills. A massive hold for them. They've got the numbers. But so has Starry Sky. 2 teams which took position quite early on. Now looking to try and close the game out.
I think Baldini, it's been a great game, honestly. Really, really good game. Very patient the way they played this out, but that was the final challenge ahead of them. Managed to maintain vehicles. P90 on Starry Skies. Just put themselves with the loot crate that was on that eastern edge, so the game becomes a lot harder to play against. P90 close quarters like this, open ground. That is a big boon to have for Starry Skies towards the same games. Let's see Baldini able to close this one out and how far Vard can actually go.
How far can Vard go? That's the question we've always got. He's just on the outside. He's the final player for them. And initial knockdown coming from Tan. Starry Sky is now starting to expand. Cappy finds one with a grenade. Slammer follows up as he works his way across. Baldini falling apart like a house of cards. And Starry Sky, they might have the star in their eyes as they look to find the final 2.
Baldini stuck a big hit there, and Silas from the side again. Picking up some big hits there. Unfortunate placement on the folded shield. Want that a little bit closer to the tree so you could have that cover from that eastern side too. Well, it sort of gives the game away with the smoke, but Ghillie Suit can be a little bit treacherous to see in these sort of situations. He just peeks his head out with the P90, finds the shots over towards Vard potentially. Baldini lets it slip through the fingers.
Oh, it's definitely someone who doesn't go quietly. Shots will come through. He does have smoke. He might want to try and make the shift to the tree. Does go for the tree shift now. Alright, we'll go get the grenade. There it goes. Hasn't cooked it. She expected it for roll down. Vard's taking a huge amount of damage. Steps out towards the P90. The construction workers step out though. Third place for them. Baldini, a heavy hitter in this game number 1, down to a final player, and it is an explosive ending for them. The Starry Skies align. They will find an 18-point game, but it's Team Nemesis though, with the 10 kills and nearly 2k worth of damage.
I am real bored of this screen now. It's the same team every single time. I think there's a bug or something. I don't know. But yeah, for Starry Skies, great game. I think that end game really solidified it for me, because up until that point, it wasn't a huge amount of cerebral gameplay. It was like, we have like the strongest compound, it's in the center, it's gonna be very hard to aggress for a lot of squads, but the end game was very nice. I like the way they set that up. It was a good split on their side. Silas very, very impressive with the P90, really clearing a lot of those angles and even using the DMR as well towards that end game to pick up a couple more towards Baldini. I think Baldini was just very much not aware of their angles, right? I think that was the problem. The sidelines were so open for Baldini as they start to move out there. But again, I think a lot of those vehicles have taken a huge amount of punishment, Mark. Not a lot of chance to set up some of those impromptu cover bases.
Yeah, it's the final part of the game where they sort of fell apart. But let's not take anything away, because it was a textbook early to mid game for Baldini. That 2-2 split was perfect. The zone shift, their shift, their collapse was to perfection as well. But unfortunately for them, they will end out game number 1 though in 4th place with 9 kills. Starry Skies do take the star in the eyes with 18, but Team Nemesis with a huge amounts of kills. Sosa's Deed refusing to go down without a fight.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from him. Really working through to that end game. And again, I think Team Nemesis likes to play this way, where they suddenly split up and it's 4 one-man teams towards the end game. They decide, you know what, we're just going to play this for now as long as possible, see how far we can get. But very, very familiar sight here on the leaderboard. 2nd place, Team Nemesis. 3rd place, Construction Workers. 10 points and 13 points. That consistency is not going away for either of these squads. X-Howl, interesting late game. Let's put it that way. I respected that. I think you got to have confidence like that if you're going to make those maneuvers. They were either going to send directly over towards Construction Workers. If that didn't happen, get themselves over towards that ridge side. Sadly, it was taken, but they still held their own. Hive were dropped down to 7th place. They've only 1 placement point because of that.
It felt like it was, oh, can't go there. Oh, can't go there. Oh, we're stuck here now.
We're going to make it work.
And take it on. But yeah, they made it work. They dug themselves out of a bad situation. But we've got to go back to the very beginning, because there was a few teams that dug themselves into a situation. One of them was No Slack. Early on, initial fight though, as they were getting breached. Jog Benito, no surprise, they were always fighting with Jog Benito to start with. They never let us down. But it was interesting to see no tag team. The Italian Stallions were getting involved. A very, very, very early engagement, though, on a third party.
Yeah, again, we get into week 3 now. I've got a lot of teams understands they want to get towards that top 9 position. They need to go for kills. And especially if it's your first time getting in here towards the cup, you need to look for those third parties whenever and wherever you can to really plump up those point scorings. So I think for No Slack, he likes to take these positions where they're holding off teams going in towards compounds, holding off rotations. But be very aware now that there's going to be plenty of other teams that as soon as they hear the shots ringing out, it's sort of like zombies, honestly. They're going to meandering over. It's happening every single time. So I do think that teams like No Slack, who do rely on that type of play style, need to be wary of this. Need to be very wary of this. Because it felt like, oh, we have the high ground, Anakin. And then so out of nowhere, it's the Revenge of the Sith in terms of the rest of the squads all moving in. It's a struggle. Very, very much a struggle. So I think for No Slack, I love the play style still. A bit more caution required.
Yeah, and just some of those little steps in the right direction, especially if you are going to collapse in, you are going to try and take the breach, so to speak.
The anti-breach, yeah.
The driving straight towards him in the open, that doesn't work out.
Yeah, I was curious. Replay of that.
It was just straight down. The guy shooting me, I'm just going to send it straight down to them. So there's them. Let's talk about some other teams who didn't quite catch the action, because a lot was going on. We caught Team Nemesis rolling on that higher ground. Obviously, big defense over boards, but we did see actually on the other side, we didn't quite catch it. But on the other side, we have Team Yo crashing as well. So loads of focal points in on that kind of. That high ground. Baldini, I think, had a better position. As I said before, they had that 2-2 split and they collapsed to that 4, and they were just able to hammer people from the side. So we saw Yo fall down. So again, missed game, potentially a missed opportunity for them to get a high up on this leaderboard.
Hey, a huge missed opportunity, by the way. It's more than just a small opportunity that passed them by. It's a huge one. If they had followed up on PWD, right, they'd taken that position with him. The team that cleared PWD out and moved on from that was Starry Skies, right? If Yo had actually played that one out alongside PWD and didn't go for this 3-1 split, which I think was sort of unnecessary as soon as PWD had picked up that spot, that's potentially a chicken dinner right there for them. They just retraced the steps of Starry Skies, which would have been the logical conclusion as they went on in that game. I think Yo's going to be kicking themselves for that one. It feels like I'm watching a replay of last week, but instead of James, it's PWD this time.
Yeah. They like that kind of Roma role, don't they? They like that one person sort of playing out and scouting the ridgeline.
Don't always need it, though.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that's how they're always playing at the moment. But again, it might be they're transitioning, they're settling, just trying to figure out who plays in what role. Well, that role does tend to work, though. I'll give you on this next map. We are going to be going into Miramar very shortly. You have the additional space here, but then we see that kind of that game style work because of James, a PWD. If they want to try and take a ridge down, they can do because they got the space to do that. not with the zone that we just had now.
Yeah, I think we looked at last time Yo was playing over on Miramar. It was very nice, and they played a four-man split at one point, and I think that led to a really good point scoring capability for them. I think Yo, you definitely need a strong roamer, strong scout on side to make those sorts of plays happen on Miramar. But again, I do just want to come back to that point. It's not always necessary. It's not always necessary. If the PWD or Gems can find themselves a really strong spot ahead, at that point in time, let's regroup. Let's just daisy chain this on to each other. Good example is last week Erangel, between the compound over towards Sharkfin as well as Ferry Pier. They had a good split there, but I think at some point it was like, guys, I think at some point we need to regroup, because, you know, if we took this to an international, someone's crashing you here. Someone is absolutely crashing you here.
Without question. Other things on international stages, potentially not missed mortar opportunities. Hive, from a position gifted from the gods that were Ghetto Gang, an opportunity to put lay to waste a team nemesis. Yeah, they only hit with the final blow. Unfortunately for them, they weren't carrying any more ammunition to get the reload. Could have been different, but they've got to get that zeroing in down. They had their 2 chances, but 2 missed opportunities.
Yeah, and I think that position there, again, it's a tough one, because usually the first shot is a case of, right, push it left.
Fine.
And then your second and third shot is going to be kind of on target. But I think they were still lining things up by the third shot. And at that point in time, it's a little bit too little too late. Because if you do get a knock, it's going to be just res back up again. And you've found not too much off the back of it. Hey, we're going to get into Miramar pretty shortly here, Mark, actually. I'm quite surprised. Happily.
Yeah, the planes are pretty much loaded.
We're exercising it right now. Okay.
Someone is jinxing it. Stop it.
All right.
But yeah, we're about to get on. We only have 5 maps though, and we have done a wrangle. We will come back to wrangle though on map number 5, but we will be going across to the sandy dunes, or the dusty dunes of Miramar, should I say. And again, let's talk about Hive a little bit more, because they had a very difficult position to try and play in from. That kind of uphill battle towards Team Nemesis is difficult. It is in Miramar that I think Team Hive is a map they prefer as well. So if they can find the drop, if they can find the rotation, they may not second guess that kind of push, because they are a team which they kind of want to forget about the early game. They want to sort of just jump into mid game and go late game, because we know they can get there. And when they get there, generally speaking, they will close the game out. But they struggle with some decision making. I think they had a 50-50 toying cost there. Do we push towards Team Nemesis? Yes, we got a knock, but it was a huge smoke line. Like, what stopped them playing in? And I think that comes back to their kind of default play. Let's just play to the center. Let's play to sort of work out to late game. Then we'll get our kills. I think they missed an opportunity though on that first round.
Yeah, you have a lot of beep boop autopilot moments, right, that come through, and I think that you sort of need to start coming away from that. Again, that goes back to Yo in terms of their 3-1 split. Sometimes you just need to give that up and go off the status quo, because I think that comfort plays is a lot of times what kills teams in these situations. For Hive, you know, we go back to week 1, Erangel, I think it was the first one of the day, playing inside of Crater Fields. They had a fantastic game from there, really well done, very well scouted, and a lot of the times where they were picking up kills, they were very consistent on those shots. I want to see more of that, because I do think there's a lot of times at the moment where it feels like Hive is playing for second place spots, right? You know, the second spots, where you've already got someone taking prime time and they're just on the graveyard shift. So I do think that for Hive, that's what they maybe need to sort out a little bit right now. A bit more confidence is what I'm trying to get out from them, because I think they are an excellent team.
It's just that confidence that when you're not in a centralized position, if they just need to fake it till they make it. But we don't need to fake it till we make it. Why? Because we've got match number 2. The flight path's loaded. Players are in. And we are ready to go, people. It's week number 3. Match 2 for the Spring Cup. And the opportunity, though, for these teams to get some points on the board, if they haven't got things rolling, is underway with a southeast up towards a north to northwest.
Oh, lovely stuff here. Absolutely lovely jubbly, honestly. I'm quite happy with the playing fast we've had today. Big fan. I think that for a lot of teams, this is just very nice, at least in the PEC Cups. You get to worry a lot more about your gameplay as opposed to where the circle is wrangling you off to like some kind of cattle. So we'll see how this does pan out for a lot of our squads. Starry Skies, though, hey, got to give props to you, Mark. You brought them up at the start of the day. You were like, I've got a good feeling about these guys. They're looking good. They're shining bright in the sky, and you're feeling them. So yeah, well done. Well done. This is more like a well done, Mark moment.
I'm going to say that. I'm out. I've done my bit today, people. I see you later. No, they're a good team. They're a good team. And you know what? Obviously, when you get to meet players at LANs and stuff like that, right? Yeah. Sometimes you change not opinions, positive and negative, right? But you can just see genuine people. And I think these guys they had to have a bit of a reset, some of them. They stepped away over the winter breaks and obviously went to get ready, things underway. They've come back now. I do think Star Guys came in a bit later, and they are going to go head-to-head here with no slack. So an extension over, and there's only really one place they can go, and it looks like the opportunity comes in. Satsu gets the first one, but he will find Satsu, and the peekaboo from XE. Well, he gets one, nearly the second one, though. But Star Guys, they're backed up in the corner.
Yeah, me coming out with the sawn off as well. It's lovely stuff. XE finds another tag. This guy's going sawn off crazy.
XE, find the new angle. Play peekaboo. No, he's gone. he's been dumped out. He made the run, but he's like whack-a-mole. He tried to cross. It's a sawn off. Best M249. He's got one more shot. The bullet's coming from Silencer. He keeps the pressure. He turns his back and he nearly gets away. Oh my God, Starry Sky, you picked them up, but they are no more a twinkle in our eyes in game number 2.
Oh my God, we're booting up Sawn Off EXE. This is crazy stuff. The 1v4 at the start of the game here on Miramar is just wild. The do it with a Sawn Off as well, which basically looked like a sniper rifle. Insane stuff.
Why did he? Well, first off, production GGs and observing GGs for sticking with him. I would have got twitchy fingers, all right? But why did you turn your back? Silence, why did you turn your back? You only had a shotgun. You know it's a sawn-off. But you had an M249, the cannon of the lobby, and you turned your back to a shotgun and you get goodbye. So yeah, let's talk about Starry Skies because they've done pretty well. I picked them up and they're now out.
There's been a big well done, Mark moment to get you a podium for the end of the day. Yeah.
You set me up. You set me up, Blank. How dare you?
Yeah, insane stuff though. Insane stuff. Well played. Very well played. I think it's really hard to like carry on casting after something like that.
Are we talking about welcome to the PUBG PC, mate? This is constant. Yeah. And I think it comes down to the format, right? This is the last part of this stage. These teams have to get points on the board, and with no stack going down I'd argue quite early as expected in game number 1, they can't miss any more opportunities. They've had their miss. Starry Sky's got a win, so no stack was like, no, we're sticking this drop. El Pozo's ours.
Yeah, very, very impressive. Very impressive. Anyway, now we're going to go back to boring rotations, guys. Apologies. But we'll see how things do pan out. I think it's interesting what we're talking about at the end of that game in terms of confidence, because Exhal is certainly that team for me. You mentioned before, these guys are held to leather, and they absolutely were in that last game. But I think that's a bit of an X factor that a lot of teams don't have. Right, is that there's that moment of being like, you know what, we just got to give it, we just got to go for it. For Baldini, I think that's the thing that actually loses in that last game. I think there was a lot of opportunities for them just to send it, but instead they play the long game. Yeah, they get a couple of points off the back of it, but it's not quite enough. I don't have anybody's. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah, you are. Anybody, so finding the car placement very well for him. So obviously gave away, and Winix had to disengage. So nice play from them. Let's talk about the actual, obviously flight path. Obviously, as I said before, was southeast up towards the northwest, and the zone was late. So we are up in that sort of northwest segment of Miramar. So Oasis, I love it. Always want to see an end in there. Quite rare. Huge amounts of verticality in and around that kind of crater fields area, so teams will be looking for potentially those emergency pickups, see if they can get in the sky. We do have some teams already on the emergency pickups and rotating their way around. Some others, no tag team, they're trying to keep ahead of the sandstorm. James though, for Yo, it looks like the call from PWD is to send him up in the air, so I think he'll be looking at this, one for scouting information, but two, also if he can get to one of these pillars, you can just sit there, you can wait, and just, again, find a way to joystick this team in.
Yeah, that's right. We really get James back on that maneuver, where he goes solo dolo. He's not really part of the team, but he is part of the team.
He's the corner pillar. He's a staple of the team. What are you talking about?
Hey, you know, with the way he's playing, you don't really like him too much. Yeah.
I'm with you.
Oh dear me. PWD gave it a go last game, didn't work out quite as well, but we'll see what happens right now. I think for Yo, I think it's a good opportunity to move all the way over towards that northern side, give yourself a bit of an anchor point to move off towards. And getting that scouting done, I think most of it happens over towards that western side, looking over towards Crater Fields. You're looking if anyone's moving out of El Pozzo just yet, and you can feed that straight back across. And this is one of the locations they won on last game. That's a bit mean. So they're trying to get ahead. Yeah. All right.
Me. Oh, I'm ahead. My job's to be in front. So he's slacking. Look, he's getting a push now. Diffic's like, oh, mate, come on, hurry up. Let's get going.
You know, actually,
Team Nemesis, though, staying together.
It's tactical. He's got the map open. Right. He's getting wrangled.
I didn't think about that. I'll give you that. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he's getting wrangled.
You push, I direct.
I direct.
It's a teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah,
Rest of you though are rotating on that sort of west side. James obviously very much ahead in that northwest corner. No slack with a boost of confidence, bringing the Starry Skies down to earth as they crash out on 16th place. They take a little bit of loot. I'm going to question whether the M16 is not my favourite gun. I couldn't hit a barn door if I was in front of it with that gun. It's one of those mind blocks for me, but I'm going to question that maybe I didn't have enough time to loot El Pozo before moving. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I don't know. That is a weird one, right? Where you pick up the M16. I don't like that gun. I don't mind it as a DMR usually, playing it like that. And then you got yourself an AUG M4 off the back of that. But I would never use it as a primary. Really do hate it as a primary. Because then you really do have to lean into the burst fire, right? But I suppose a Miramite's not too bad. Right, you know, close range still works out well, and then you can tag at long range.
Don't defend the gun. Don't defend it. It's out there. Get out. Whee!
I know.
Vard was on the map as well. 360 spin. Do a kickflip and land. Hard for Vard. Let's keep driving.
Oh, the 300 and the 2.5 times multiplier. Lovely stuff. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to reason it. Just trying to reason it. Figure it out. I don't know. I think that maybe your idea of the loot was pretty shoddy is also very fair. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyway, a lot of teams moving in here. I think you were talking earlier about the elevation of this area, and have to agree with you. I think that's why you see a lot of teams kind of slashed across the middle of this map, just because they want to get a lot of those high ground spots play off the back of it. Other than that, it's quite open areas, you can see on your screens. Ghetto Gang, though, taking a couple of shots there from Brox. I mean, he's just sending position. I don't think you're really finding anything off the back of that. If he was able to get 2-tap on him with the headshots, maybe he's able to flush, but I don't know.
Farming damage, right?
Yeah, so, basically.
We're so far up in the map, guys. Let's just give our observers a bit of benefit of doubt, right? Because we can't even center the map up. That's how high. That's how much we are in Narnia. Yo team have worked their way around, so they have put themselves in a position in that kind of northwest corner. Baldini doing the same as they play across and through Oasis. Ghetto Gang in a good spot, but they've got to keep their heads down. They are, unfortunately, the receivers of damage. Hive on a massive 2-2 split, so I'll give them the benefit of doubt that actually if the zone does play across towards the east, they've got to make a quick decision of what compound they want to take. But then we go back to game number one, Baldini. They made the call, they made it well. Let's see if Hive can do the same.
I mean, definitely for Hive. If he heads over towards that northern side of the northeast, you kind of want to be regrouping on those guys up towards the hillside. But it is nice having that outpost down towards the south. Not only that, it gives you a lot of information who's coming out from San Martin as well as Hacienda. A lot of roads to meet through there. Most players are in the circle at this point in time, though. We do head over towards that northern edge. Very hard north shift as well. It is horrible. We had a La Cabrera game last week as well, I believe. So we're going straight back to it. And Yo's played a bit of a blinder off the back of this one, getting James over towards that northwest side. And now they're playing over towards this cut off edge of this hilltop. This is a really excellent position to be playing in. They're raining the hell upon Baldini. I think the one thing you do need to worry about, though, is the fact that how much utility, how much loot do they have on board? And I think that's why they send out James so early, so the rest of the team can loot up and then have clear comms that we have the go-ahead to move up that western road.
Just look at that. And this was a perfect view, right? They were looking at Overwatch and PWD. The moment PWD finds his way in, Jeem jumps off and gets on with Michael. Michael's now taken him. The only thing they haven't factored in is this. Actually, scrapped out PWD's seen it. He's heard it. The man takes a barrage of bullets from Needix, but he gets the high ground, though. He's got to keep applying the pressure. The rest of the guys are now working their way in. But for Yo, they had the opportunity to leave or go. Michael pulls up. He needs to reload. He does click try, though, with the Mini. And looks like they're going to get the first one. They do. Actually coming from the other side. McIntosh will find one. Needix finds a second. And Yo needs to collapse and farming the kills.
I mean, for the boys on Yo, the guys in here just need to live whilst the rest of the team starts to pull up right now. Fair few knocks coming through over towards X House. They're looking fairly decent. There is going to pop up on their right side, though. They haven't quite seen it, but they're moving through the smoke. Not bad. Won't connect at all. In the window, Michael will send a couple of shots that way, but gets taken out on both. Jeems, luckily, is in position. Nedex runs straight past him here, Mark.
Needix runs past him. He actually had the call. He's running completely out, but then he gets the call. Look, we know no tag going to try and get involved in this one. Doffy finds one, though. Finds Needix as well. And Yo under control as they execute the plan to perfection. They did not factor in one, the emergency pickup. At two, the no tags here. They've got some time. PWD has to take a breather now. He does pop an energy drink. Michael is bleeding out, but he's on the right side of the car. Well, at least for no tag. But it won't be long as we can see them looking to crash it.
There he goes out, does a fair bit of damage as well. Michael will get flushed out by an nail cop. Oh, it's horrendous. It really is horrendous. I saw it from a mile off as well when that emergency pickup was in the air.
Yeah.
I started to roll down over towards the warehouse. And again, I think for Yo here, even though, you know, a lot of times I've been against the daisy chaining, I think that's one of the situations where it's absolutely fine. I think the play was actually totally okay. The E pickup at that timing is really hard to predict. What they needed to do was get at least one knock out the air. And there needed to be a slightly quicker response from the guys in the back line. But other than that, I think that was fine. I think Yo gets extremely unlucky in this situation.
I got it. Okay, I 100% agree. Their rotation, how they execute the rotation, the high ground, using the verticality, getting the information, joysticking PWD in, the cool end for the collapse from Michael, who waited for Jeems. It was just one, unlucky, and it was the timing of that emergency pickup. But two, the zone, with so much of it not in, a lot of teams will be looking to rotate on the outside, and they get caught though. SNK looks to try and catch a couple of shots. Boys has to try and play away. Zone shifts though back down off the high ground that's unplayable. So Ghetto Gang find themselves in the center. As SNK though, they are now on the outside edge of zone as they have to start migrating their way towards the west.
I think Ghetto Gang's got a really nice spot to play in at the moment. Most teams are going to try and move up towards the bottom of the hillside. This is Shimada getting absolutely blasted by the final players here from No Slack. They have taken a fair bit of punishment, but should be able to get back up with their feet. But this is where Hive could make a play for this, actually.
That's gone down. No, X, the final player here. He goes to go for the utility. He actually swaps back. Now Rocks launch out the grenade. He'll go for the bounce. He hasn't cooked it. It should fall up. The sand will hoover up some, but he's already been confirmed out. Scav, though, not too far away. Vis trying to claim up as much as they can as well, as they are neighbouring here. And IX's got a decision to try and get that res for Scav, but we don't know how many smokes he's got. With more teams overwatching and looking, I'd argue staying and keeping your head down might be the better play.
Yeah, I mean, Hive's not going to push out from there either. Hive doesn't want to use too much util. They've already found the kills anyway. If they get 3 off the back of that, they're okay with that. They don't need to push the issue too much further. So the sawn-off bazooka himself, EXE, is going to have to wait inside for the time being and just play this game out. He's basically playing Bulldog right now for Hive. Going to be underneath them, barking at anyone that's moving up. Oh, he's going for the res. Yeah, that is curious. That is curious.
Dreamwork is the teamwork. Team Nemesis though on the outside edge. Steve though is a higher ground, so he's overwatching this. SNK, who have been migrating towards that west, as we said before, now been a little bit exposed. I do like the train here. You can sort of dodge, duck and dive your way around. Melman will post a letter. We'll find one. Again, continues to use that ridge. And now with the kill feed read, Naleb finds a second. So Melman doesn't want to waste the utility. Gets the site pretty quickly, and the pressure's coming on the other side. So Steve will find another one. That puts him now on 2 for Team Nemesis as they look to try and clear these teams out.
BRDM. I mean, he just zooms in on it. He's like, what the hell is that?
Yep, not going that way.
Yeah. Very good stuff. I mean, it's very rare that we see Team Nemesis when we're watching them losing out on these gunfights. And I think that is a great big deal of why they're doing so well, is that plenty of situations they are just winning the fights and they're confident to take these spots because they're happy to fight the teams surrounding them, carve out areas of the map. I think there's a big difference between them and a lot of other teams inside this lobby who will look for free areas as opposed to fighting for stronger areas. Construction workers, though, is BRDM. Excellent pickup in this kind of locale. Gives him a huge amount of capability to scout freely without fear of taking too much damage.
Big shift.
Big shift over towards the western side. You're right. Get a gang once again. Happy with this one. But it could go either way because it could quite easily slide off of this hillside down towards the west, towards the road, toward Viz, even over towards Winex potentially.
A lot of this part of the map slightly changed as well, especially with the how it plays in that kind of phase 4. A lot of this was unplayable with the edges, especially where Diffix is unplayable, and I suppose a heat map of rejecting the zone. It's not as much now, so it might even come back towards that kind of ghetto game. It might migrate back towards the east. I like what though the construction workers are doing, and the guys said it on the PGS stream. I was talking with Toffees and James, where they were going and talking about the BRDM. There's been a big shift for me. These teams are starting to use kind of these BRDMs as scouting tools and more defensive player, and I see that, especially in the construction workers. We are still getting teams that are using it to bully, and don't get me wrong, especially that mid to late game. If you have a BRDM, and with construction workers, if they need to take position, they can use that to bully. But they've got to keep their head down. They've got to make sure they keep it in the dips, the crests, and keep it alive. So things like repair kits, they're going to come into play, and they're going to have to try and take a ridge at a time, because a lot of teams now, with that shift back towards the west, they're gonna be looking at this high ground and go, do you know what? We've got to leave Oasis now. We've got to climb this high ground in front of us. And if you find yourself with a BRDM on the other ridge, why wouldn't you take shots at it?
Absolutely. I mean, love me or hate me, coming from a TPP background, I mean, using vehicles as scout has always been a big thing, right? And it's interesting watching the PUBG lads get it under control, right? Where you do, just because you have that third person perspective, there is so much vision you can gather whilst being in a vehicle. The BRDM is just an insane tool for that. If you're in a Dacia or a truck, God, don't want to be in a truck, low HP pull, but if you're in one of those, it's like you just get shot out, blown up, and then you're on your foot for quite a while moving out of there. BRDM is just such free information for the rest of these teams. I think anyone can grab one early on, especially on a circle like this, can be very, very happy with it. But you are right. We'll see how players do move out from this eastern side. And I think if you do see that BRDM, you're wanting to take as many shots at it as possible. It's going to be very difficult to move through. If that means pulling on the M249, blasting away, if you've got Panzerfaust in one of the vehicles, trunks, pull that one out, send shots over. Necessary evil.
Oh, reaction speed.
Me, yeah.
Insane reaction speed. He was kind of waiting for him to sort of pop up, get him back to the car. He wiggles and jiggles, and I think this guy has the ability to get shifting pretty quickly. Now he's pretty close towards the zone. He's going to climb himself towards a victory. Team Nemesis, we know they never like to leave a man behind. Zexy, though, has to get a med back on. Melman looking to try and survive. Ow! Oh, what a spray! Puts him down to 1 HP. The grenade. He doesn't go for nade. He swaps over and gets it. And now the BRDM is coming for the scout of the information. Because if you see Team Nemesis up there, you can flatten 2 of them. 2 free kills for Gustav. Thank you very much, Zexy.
No, that is frustrating.
Oh, no, he's binned it. He's binned it. Oh, my God. Was it worth it? Maybe.
I need some back wheel drive on that one. I think he is actually just going to give up on it. But free vehicle nonetheless. That's annoying. That is annoying. Zexy coming in from the backside there. Unexpected. Don't think there was a full spray coming through from Zexy either. I think he got tagged from afar from someone else. I think it was 54. So he got a headshot on him from DMR from super long range. And then kind of went all to pot from there. For Team Nemesis. Oh, sad news for them. Diffex, so said, looking down towards Jogger Benito. And again, Jogger Benito needs to start getting some points on board. Currently, they're only on 3. They had that massive number from week 1.
Every time we see Storm on request, I've got a car in the air at the moment.
Yeah, I know.
There's aggressive crashing. Here comes the utility dump though, but the guys from Vis are downstairs looking for a secondary as well, so they now go through the downstairs window. One goes through, the other bounces off, and might have been a tactical to try and find out if someone was behind the dumpster outside. Blue Zone has a little bit of a defense here from Stratos. Will try and help out as they're trying to get Habibi up and rezzed again, but the spray will go through, will cause some damage. He's bleeding out pretty quickly, and Winix though, who needs some opportunity. Great nade comes out from 1-2 as 2-1-0 will fall.
And then over the back, it's just laying it into that Palmerado. Another one goes down there for Storm on the quest, and we got McIntosh on board with No Tag team over towards X-Howl, who are making it happen. No Tag, you know, scrappy little squad this one. Definitely getting stuck into it. 3 kills on this game so far, very nice stuff. Viz still going strong with 3 players. Pains looking to confirm the kill over towards one there, but it's... What? No Stacks on 10 kill? I guess after that 1v4 at the beginning of the game, only 6 off the back of it, but this could be a ginormous game for No Slack, despite it being on 2 players. Rough underneath Hive, but they have definitely not been taking it for granted. They've been taking shots out since then.
I think one of the advantages for No Stack is they're relying on these neighbouring teams to do mass amount of damage, and they are just farming kills 2 up. Maybe we'll get to Molly through and get a confirmation. Storm request, unfortunately, is going to fall, and it comes in from IXE. Again, a breathing room. And they will look on towards that fight, though. Back towards the other side of things, Ghetto Gang have been holding this area for a while. Construction workers look to try and work their way in as they will start to tab their way out. Team Nemesis, though, will go out in 10th place. Construction workers will take 9th, and we will find ourselves now in a top 8. So we're in the placement points here. And for No Slack, it's been an aggressive start. They have to try and stop the push from Hive.
No Tag still at it, though. Very good to see. Benito, Slaven, over towards the guys on Hive. Slaven will find 1, but he's fending off the Blue Zone right now. Might have just failed it there on the first aid kit, and absolutely has. A little bit too little too late on that one. Connell, send up some grenades, some smokes, give him some room to breathe. It's that warehouse that X-Howl dropped on much earlier. Nice shots from O'Connell. Keeps them going. We'll keep him at bay at least.
Looks for the reposition, looks for the hard cover, right? They've got some higher ground as well, a little bit further in, so they're taking multiple fights, trying to maybe wiggle their way through as they thread the needle between Ghetto Gang. Down the other side, car airborne. At least that provides the cover here. Now they've got to try and get the defense. Can they get any more here? No. There will fall 1. Rocks charges their way in. No Slack will go down, but it's damaging. It could be catastrophic when it comes down because Hive also bleeding huge amounts of numbers and stepping down.
EXE with the double nade on the outside, assisted by Dante to finish things up. He just left a little lurker of a grenade outside.
Graveyard, mate. Graveyard.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got a question from Hive. Should they have got rid of him quicker? Could they have denied the opportunity for that damage? And at the end of it, well, yes, they got some placement points, but that is it. Here comes the Mortify. Here comes for a top 4, though. It is No Tag with 1 bleeding out. Ghetto Gang will take the higher ground as they will run the gauntlet. But for this and for Winix, they've been on the other side. They've been through a war already. Now they've got a huge amounts of terrain to try and climb up.
Yeah, the issue with this circle right now is just really favour anyone, does it? It's gonna. I think that the real question is the amount of players on side. For Viz, they've got 2. Winix has got 1. GTG and No Tag team going to space each other on this eastern side, and they're just waiting for both these teams to be forced out of these compounds. They're going to take shots down towards them, and then we're into that one-on-one trial by fire combat between GTG and No Tag team. At least that's the way I see it going down.
Kind of look at the zone and go, is he going to play back towards the west? Did they get a blessing? Winix and Vis? I can't see him. I just can't see it. I think they've got to make the run. And unfortunately for them, even if they get a knock, there's still huge amounts of numbers on the other side. So you might get 1 knock, and yes, they're going to go get the res, but it's 4 and 4. 8 people on that side that they're looking for. Pains, pop a couple of smokes out, but again, it's got to be a full send here. Cars and go, and unfortunately, you're going to become a centre of attention.
It's a bit of a sparse trade as well on the smoke. Not a huge amount of cover there for them.
Zone help, though. Zone's got north from northwest.
Yeah, they could leapfrog. Always was a north side. No tag team, they're very happy with this. But I think what they need to be most concerned about is GTG. They're going to have to move over towards this side. If Connell peeks his head over the top, should see Sancho, actually. I think he's even looking this way, though.
What do you do with Ghetto Gang? Do you play across towards no tag? You know you've got a neighbour. You guys have been throwing punches that way. This has got an easy opportunity now just to kind of divert across towards the west. I think they were looking, like I was expecting, to shift away for this open terrain so they get a little bit of a blessing. But big question for me is, what does Ghetto Gang do? Do they play down? Because that is a huge ridge line to get across.
Yeah, I mean, the advantage they have right now is if they can peek over the top and just start taking shots, they have a little... But Akim absolutely flubs the spray there. Habibi, quick on the trigger. Take down Winex in fourth. GTG just going to wrap down towards the south side. What is the plan here? I mean, they're going to get a lot of loot off the back of this because that is Necromancer's graveyard between No Slack, Hive, and everyone else that fell prey to it. Oh, you know what? This just feels daft almost.
That's a great nade. That's a great nade. That might bounce towards him as well. The full short gets caught up in the sand dunes. Macintosh, though, has the shield. We'll get the deploy. It's going to give him a little bit of cover. Just needs to now get rid of that car. That's going to force the car to backflip and potentially roll down and roll away. Needs to keep spraying down towards that. Has to keep an eye on the ammo. O'Connell does find the new first one. There's Sancho down. And it's just, yeah, for Ghetto Gang, there is no cover.
Yeah, I think you had to storm the beach, honestly, over towards No Tag Team. This is shit. It is absolutely unplayable for GTG right now. Fizz, though, what a game plan from them. Like you said, they had opportunities to move over to a... We're still parking cars. Come on, this is not time to be a valet.
Okay. All right, sir, I'm going to park your car on the back. Just hold on a second. Just give me 5 more minutes. It's not perfect. It is not perfect. I think this is trying to make it perfect, though. They got the knock and they got the confirmation. Now, Connor will fall down, so no tags losing numbers. They got the train giving them, again, still partly advantage. It's going to be down to Doffy's with the Bolty to try and stop Pains and Habibi crossing the road.
You know, props to GTG, though. I mean, they've held strong and they lost one player in what is an absolutely horrendous position to be playing in. But as soon as these smokes start to dissipate, it depends how many they've got left. They're going to have to really go through all the stores on this one and hope the circle pulls away from No Tag Team. But still plenty of time to work with. But I am 5 with some dirty headshots over towards the top of the hill. Leaves No Tag Team black and blue. 2 players remaining to make this one happen. Doffy with the Bolty and the Scar. But is that going to be enough to make this work?
He put Macintosh back to the Stone Ages.
Yeah.
He's Louise. Unfiable, ducking towards cover. Doffy's now sees the push out. Payne's driving forward, looks for the grenade that has to try and bounce. He looks for the sand, but he hasn't cooked it. Goes a little bit too far on that one. Rafa has to go for the reposition. They have to wait for Habibi's one. Here comes the run, though. They've got to be cautious on the peak, though. The smoke wall is to perfection as this will mind potentially 2-2. He peeks out on the other side. Doffy finds Habibi, though, and it goes down to Payne's the final player here from this. Get on my way, I'm trying to launch a nade.
It's desperate. Util been sent through. GTG is going to wrap around the backside. Viz hasn't quite figured it out just yet. Will turn around just in time as Ghetto Gang will drop down the smoke there. Should be able to clean up one over towards Habibi. Anybody's will find Doffy as well. And Paynes goes down. And suddenly we're into 1v3 here as Ghetto Gang. Oh my days. How
have they got it? Rafa will not go down without a fight. The Italian will fight on, though. Using the ridgeline to his advantage. Anybody's, though, will just try and launch a molly over the top. He has been picked up. April has to duck into cover, but the information's been gained, and it's Ghetto Gang. They fight their way out the ghetto, and they fight their way to the top. No slack, though. Oh, my God. 14 kills. That's a GG.
That is a GG. What a mental ending that was, though. I mean, for Ghetto Gang... The decision just to send center there seemed so wildly out of place. I mean, I think they were just confident in the amount of smokes that they had on side, but yeah, in my eyes, it felt wrong. It felt really wrong, but they managed to close things out. I think the No Tag Team didn't give them enough of a bruising for what they were doing on that side, in my opinion.
Well, if you know what you got to, if you think you got what it takes better than us, then you just sign up below. Scan the QR code and make sure you get in.
Apparently I
There
do.
are only 2 more weeks though, and you can be involved. You've got to get yourself through the scrim. So scan the QR code, get to the website, sign you and your buddies up though, and find yourself in that scrim. Let's go back to that though, and your reference: Storm the Beaches. I was with you. Ghetto Gang for me had to make the play. They were in the open. Did no tags team not give him enough tags in the end? Potentially. But I think it comes down to Viz. Viz, the Dangerous two, BB and Pains, they didn't want to go out without a fight, and they drew the attention not just of Doffy's, but we saw Rafa have to reposition as well. Was that enough to keep Ghetto Gang alive? Clearly was the case.
Yeah, they're getting some of the situations though where I look at that ending and immediately I'm thinking for no tag team, it's dropped 2 smokes in the direction of Viz and you focus all fire over towards Ghetto Gang whilst they were parking the cars up. I mean, they spent so much time trying to get them between the white lines that they should have had enough time to get those shots in. Very, very surprising stuff. And Ghetto Gang gets away with this game with 18 points. It's a fantastic result for them. You know, I can't fault them for it because although, yeah, I think they were given some respite as they were parking up, you know. But despite that, I think they played the game out well towards the end. Some good rotations down towards the side, and quickly and assuredly they were able to surround No Tag Team as well as Viz. Yeah, fantastic stuff. No Slack though, with 15 points, with only the 1 placement point. What a ridiculous game from them. The son of Bazooka.
Yeah, God, from the very drop, right? No Slack fighting, sawn off shotguns, and then the ability for No Slack just to kind of lay low as a duo. And again, massive play, being able to get that res back in. So that was a good shot for them. I got a question: Hive, should they have maybe applied pressure? Could they have applied pressure into No Slacks? Well, it wasn't going to be the case. Today's leaderboard, obviously, though, Ghetto Gang will launch themselves up towards first place. Darius guys will drop down. This position themselves nicely on 18 points, but the same with Construction Workers and No Slack, though. That duo come back to it, mate. Put them on 6th place, and again, they are eking points out after potentially dropping points in game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, you get 30, 40 points on the day. I think that's a very good result between every club. I think we've seen some big outliers. And although you might look back over on the score lines from week 1, week 2, and be like, we've seen 60 points, you know, 50 points. That's what we should be aiming for. It's like, no, those are just insanely good weeks from the likes of Team Nemesis, Jogo Benito, as well, Construction Workers. I think 40 points is fantastic. I think you'd be very, very pleased to get that. And I think Team No Slack's on point to be hitting that one. Do you know the question I had? I didn't quite get the chance to ask you, Mark, during that game was: do you think if Construction Workers hadn't have so demonstrably destroyed their BRDM over in the pit, do you think they might have made it into that end game? So I think they could have all 4 of them got in towards that vehicle and just slid on past that compound, or even just crashed onto it. One of those situations where you're so desperate to get some revenge over towards Team Nemesis that you forget you might need that bad boy later.
I will answer. I do want to say I want to see the overall as well, the actual cut, because I think it's going to play. The BRDM, I think you can't underestimate it. Even as a defensive play we spoke about, I do think we would have seen Construction Workers in a lot later of a game, because they would have been able to use it in that second half to potentially bully teams off. We would have seen Ghetto Gang have to have made a move potentially off their side. Potentially would have seen the likes of No Tag Team not be able to play into that position because they would have been able to use it. But they binned it down. So yes, I would answer your question with that. Actually, I would have seen potentially one of those teams out and Construction Workers in late game. But to look at the overall cup leaderboard, what is this, people? Well, we've been fighting our way out, and this is week number 3. And every single end of the week, we will type the points and where you tally up, and it will be added to the overall cup leaderboard. So Construction Workers, though, if they were in the late game, they would have continued to add towards those total points, and they are up here. But it's as we start to eke our way down the leaderboard. No Slack now up in 5th. In the 60 points, you've got to start thinking they are potentially kind of safe. But this is the mid-pack, which I'm really interested in. No Go Next, no PUBG RU, no Voptrox, no PGG, no QAS, no Skittles. Baldini's in here, and they are the only team which has the capabilities now to really drive up this leaderboard.
Yeah, I think for Baldini, there is definitely a chance here. I think there's been a couple of games so far where we've seen them, been like, it's not been too bad here and there. I think they do lack that spearhead position sometimes towards the end of games where they just push on through towards a stronger position, because I think they set themselves up quite nicely, but they never quite launch off that setup. That's the thing that does worry me. No tag, though. I think that last game looked good up until the point where they whiffed a lot of shots towards the end of that one over towards Ghetto Gang. I think if they hadn't have whiffed those shots, they would have had 2 kills off the back of that one. And then it would have been a case splitting attention between a 2 and 2. But, you know, hindsight is 2020. You know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Ghetto Gang made like the play of a century right there.
Nah, I'm with you. I think they got a blessing. Look, let's break down what we've seen so far from No Tag, especially today. They like fair party. They like to take a head-to-head fight. So if they can take advantage of someone that is already bleeding, the Stallions will go their way in, right? What we saw at the end there, they had to juggle. They were the team that was in control. They was having a push from that kind of west side, from a dangerous duo, which was Pains and Habibi coming in. And then they had a full sending force from Ghetto Gang, and they just couldn't juggle up. Personally, I would have kept 3 on Ghetto Gang, and as you say, deploy the shields, deploy the smokes, block out the line of sight, because Vis have such a huge amount of train just to try and get across the road and find safety. I would have left kind of Rafa there just to maybe hit the shots, not hit the shots. It fell though when they lost O'Connell and he went down. That blew that plan apart, and it was like, actually, do you know what? Now it's defensive play. And Ghetto Gang, even though before they had made that move, before they lost that, it was just full defensive play. So again, just they need to work on that kind of juggling,
the refrags as well,
and making sure they focus actually what is the critical. Because I'm with you, Ghetto Gang was the danger. It wasn't coming from Vis at that point in time.
Yeah, I think it's a case of, again, when you get into team format, it's very different to when you're playing in pub style matches where you're all doing different things, right? Like, I see that go over there. We're not thinking about team shots. We're not thinking about refragging. And I think that's the difficulty. You really need to be super communicative in those moments to ensure that you have that chance, because I think that was the big problem. So all looking at different targets. There wasn't any focus fire. And when one player went down, there wasn't another player to be like, well, he's just peeked from that angle. He should be dead, because you should be taking headshots over towards him from a separate angle. That didn't happen. I think that's what No Tag team needs to really sort out. And again, that's where it's quite obvious to me that the No Tag team, it's a little bit more practice at playing at this level that's required. But the talent is there. The talent is absolutely 100%. There for that squad.
100%. Well, that's 2 games done, and No Tags have always been consistency there. See what they can do though, as we will shift our way over towards Tago. Now, the first 2, we got a little bit of a blessing. We got love, we got nice, cool, calm, and collective flight pass. But this one, guys and girls, for match number 3, as it's time to Tago, we're going to keep you off the map. Why? Because it is a northeast up towards the northwest. Surprise, surprise! It's going to be Starry Eyes.
Yeah, it's a nasty one. This one, with the river flowing through the center here. SNK heading down towards that south side. Yo also getting out nice and early. Yeah, we've always had some interesting circles, interesting maps overall here on Tago. Everyone's getting out nice and early. We know that Team Nemesis likes to play over towards Shipyard, but they're not dropping out this way this time around, because they like to play from the west to the east here. Mark. Instead, they're going out far over on the western side. Oh, it's interesting. That's interesting. They're switching things up for this particular lobby.
This is the alternate drop. They're going to come down towards this sort of Hapo area and play in the sort of southwest corner. But I'm with you. Yeah, they normally either go quite early, and especially up towards that shipyard. So I think the scouting of information, maybe that we're looking at, actually, this is here. They're going to play for that shipyard. And you've got to also remember, like, they've got the opportunity, not for zone, but they've got the opportunity that I'd argue to say they're qualified, so they can try out these new drop spots. They can see what they can make of it. No, don't turn you back. Oh,
I mean, you got the headshot on him. Pretty nasty, honestly.
Down to 12 HP. Down to 12 HP. Now, it is a fight here for Palace. They're doing the right thing. They know he's down, bodies as well. Has to try and find some meds as quickly as he can, but they're already collapsing in. Starry Sky looking to try and finish this one off. Don't forget, we've got the recall center in the middle of Palace. If they can find him pretty quickly and they can dig him out, they can get back to a 4.
Stalny from Jogo Benito with the Panzer Fouls. It goes far. Quick sweep to the side. There's an instant response here from Cappy. Starry Skies will find him. That's Jogo Benito. Down
Chip
one
and go.
player now.
They've got to go. They've got to go. Grab his chip as well. God, do it. I think
Leave.
Gappy's done it as well.
Leave.
They've left. That's the right play. They've got their chip. They're going to go send it in. They've got to figure out what they've got to do from when it comes down to a recall point of view. They have a read roughly where the teams have dropped. So I'll be cautious. I think Schengen's going to cause a bit of problems for them unless they look to try and cross early. That zone quite early as it is on that east, and we have lots of unplayable. That red line is the divide and conquer. So for Team Yo up in that kind of airport area, they'll be happy here. Lots of teams are already kind of working their way now towards more of a central, and we see Yo with PWD scouting ahead.
Yeah, what we don't want to see is PWD dead in the next minute or so. I do like for Starry Skies them leaving there. I think when you're playing against Jogo Bonito, you can see them in the kill feed. You know who you're up against. If they'd tried to loot alongside them, you know Jogo Bonito would be hunting. Instead though, Starry Sky moves straight over towards Hive. Schengen on 1 HP finds a double with the M4.
Tippy toes.
His feet will get knocked out, sadly.
Mogor's taking a tumble as well. Instead of looking to try and give him reinforcements, but he's fallen out of a car. Schengen was always going to be a problem here. It's so hard to read someone being here. Cappy, the final player, with Mogor falling in the kill feed, that gives him half a chance to get at least a body up. But I wouldn't be surprised. Watch that mini-map. Here they come. Here comes Hive. Dante full sending his way in.
Well, he knows it's a 1v1 right now, but a player's getting back on his feet very, very quickly here. Looking to set off towards the side. 2 nades in hand as well. And it's a small area to play in. That's very slick. I like that a lot. We'll now look over towards the other side. He's burning a lot of time here now, though, Mark. A lot of time's been burnt away. Teammate does turn up. I believe this is a 3v3 now. They want to get that chip back. Absolutely want to get that chip back.
Yeah, they're playing for the res. Get it clear. I think Dante was going full send because he knew there was one down in the middle of the road. So good play from Cappy because he grabbed that player, the most vulnerable, to get the res back on. Now they find it back to a 3 versus 3. Yes, Hive have got a position across this sort of north side, but they haven't found none of the players at the moment. Starry Sky's able to find some cover. Mogor's going to have to get in the car, maybe cross over towards the other side of the road. Well, for now, looks like he's going to turn, duck down, go back a little bit further down the road, then cross over and come back. They're going to look to try and expose Starry Sky where they can.
I mean, for them, it's important because you know how this does go down. You lose the blue chip, they take it with them, put it in a trunk. Suddenly you're in a really treacherous situation, especially early game like this. Only 5 minutes in, going down to 3 players is a bit of a death sentence here on Tego. When you get towards those more open areas, you really want to have 4 players alive so you can scout all positions. Because there's a lot of times where you're not even playing compound, you are just playing on the ridge sides, essentially. We haven't talked about the circle too much, to be honest. It is far out over towards the east. South of those fields on the north side, so players will have to worry about those too much of the time being, but it is this ridge side as always. I think we're very, very familiar with this at this point, where currently Boars are playing. That does create this big divide between players coming in from the west and players that are already set in towards the east.
So I've noted Jogo Bonito was able to get the recall as well, so they're going to be back up bodies back to a 4. I do worry actually if Starry Skies did have that blue chip and they were in the kill feed, that actually Jogo Bonito might sort of continue to close down. They have taken the higher ground outside of Paris, so they know they're not too far. I do worry that if that Hive and Starry Sky fight kicks off, that we will see a fair party from Jogo Bonito pretty quickly. They do have to factor in they've got to rotate as well. With Godot completely open, they're able to find a hell of a lot of loot pretty quickly. But let's get back to the middle of the zone, give or take. SNK get involved. They've received a knock though, but they've received one back in return. Flash goes over the top, looks for the recover. As Odin, all he can do is watch from a distance.
Odin Mavasi. Just be watching out, like you say, Falmino. Luckily, his team doesn't go down. The Mad actually stays up there through sheer rage alone. Surprisingly, he didn't immediately fall to the damage been sent his way. Went very, very low as I was ducking underneath cover. That's a ball push-up, and Almino falls for it. As they do get an off angle on towards him. One player still left alive here for SNK in the area. Flores is going to start to circle.
That's what XL do. This is what they do well. They like to be aggressive. They tighten up and they make the play. They want to expose these 1 versus 4 fights, and they've always get the better number of it. They're able just to break down and go, do you know what? We put 4 guns on this person. Right, okay, we've cleared that. 4 guns on this person. They will just stack up aggression. Yo, working their way from the north. They look like to try and see if they can take advantage. But how? Instantly, tuck tail. They run back towards the south, back to safety.
No reason to keep pushing it too much, right? You can just back it off now. I think for Exhal, they realize that we don't have a terrible position on the circle. We can chill out slightly, move back. We don't have to force the fight on this side of things. And just wrap around. They've got that rich side to play around on their western edge. They've also got this compound to fall back to. And already with 4 kills, you know, if they get themselves up towards the top 8 with 4 more kills that they can just steal away from the fights, that's already a good game. That's a good game at that point. So I respect that Exhal do back it off here. Yo, on the other hand, are very, very wedged in at the moment on this eastern side. They've got No Slack as well as Viz on their northern edge. Up towards our western side, got Baldini breathing down their neck. Okay.
Always happen. Always. Baldini just can't let it go. They just can't let it go. They've got to be in their bonnet. You've killed them ours. We're going to return the favour. You got to remember, for them, they had 1 fair right in Godot. They have collapsed their way down. Here comes the fight, though. 2 remain. Ero and Cappy. Cappy down to 1. Needs to get a med back on as quickly as he can. It is phase number 1, so the tick is not as bad. But he has to keep his bodies. And for Jogo Benito, they are using this ridgeline to perfection. They just telegraph slightly on the car. And Cappy, though, has to cut as he's only got the bandages before he looks to try and get... Oh, no, Slaven. No, you're not going to post that one. Here it comes, Nade. It's going to bounce. Cappy, despite getting the mid, Slaven delivers the parcel to perfection.
Oh, you think you found the medkit? You think you found salvation, only to get naded out. It's a rough one. Sorry, Sky. It's eliminated. Joey Benito, they do not go down easy. And Starry Sky will be going out in 15th place. Yeah, surprise stuff from Jogo Benito there. I think Cristalni just didn't have to do what he did, where he just rolled across and made the seat switch and went for the spray. Honestly, a lot of gameplay from Jogo Benito is just them styling on other teams a lot of times.
Is that your word for bullying?
Yeah.
Is that what you call it? It's just aggression. They've got to be in there by it. They receive damage and now they want to make sure they get rid of them and remind everyone who they are. It's fear they put into the hearts and the souls of these other teams. We do see the shift. Does lose a lot of the unplayable. A lot of these teams work their way over. Visto a little bit ahead of Yo. PWD down to a 1 shot as he tries to get back over, but Habibi finds him just before he finds his way into safety. And they get the flush. Pains will get the confirmation and PWD is going to fall.
Yeah, so that's a frustrating one for Yo because you expect these teams to rotate together. Instead, Viz stops short and will eliminate a lot of the speed they had going into the circle. But they're okay with it, right? Their position's sound. They're happy to hold out on this eastern edge. Now, X-Hal's coming in once again to ruin the day of Yo. Oh, dear me. It's all going wrong here. PWD going down multiple times first here as that forward player for the squad. And that's just what happens. At least he could be the man in the sky now. At least, you know, narrator voice telling him where to go, what to do.
But you're right. He has been one of the first to fall every single game. So they have to look at that as a takeaway. Like, is Yo in a good spot on the leaderboard? 100%, right? They've got the ability to kind of flex slightly, change things up, make adaptations, make changes. But they've got to be cautious. They can't have week on week because they are looking to go through some playoffs. They need to kind of iron out these issues. Back towards the other side. I see those need to iron out. Given the issues, though, is construction workers. Gustav, though, has been knocked. Fex, I thought he was just about to get to safety, but he's been knocked here. Vard, reinforcement players. He drives his way forward. Quick confirm on 1. Look for the second. They play round the robin, but Vard jumps on his head like whack-a-mole.
Yeah, I mean, this is insane. Boars now. The front line. Nade went down. Just blew up behind him. And Nailup's got to be the last player now to really remedy the situation. Hala Senpai should be able to finish out both these players now for Boars. This team falls around and quite spoiled towards Nailup. Looking the right way, but gets a heads up now. Nailup could get Gustav back up on his feet. There's a possibility to get a res inside the circle. It is very much out of the way, though, dude. I think for construction workers, Lally's going to play on us too if they're able to make this work. That's a nice bounce on the nade. It's a little bit far. Never mind.
Confirmation. I like Hello Empires, though. Defensive utility uses from the smoke. So he took a hell of a lot of shots, and they lined that grenade up. He popped the smoke and he ran away from it. So he drew in that kind of that dud nade from Nalip as well. So good play from him. Able to keep the guys up. Now it's a 2 versus 1. Now we kind of see other teams rotating their way in. Winix being one of them. Jocko Benito has to go for the hard stop as someone's been evicted from the car and don't want to carry because they are still well on the outside. Phase 2, you can get away with it. They are going to have to loot as they go. 135 over 2, that Bolty might be key to keep Jocko Benito in it.
Yeah, aggressive start of the game, 4 kills, able to get the blue chips back online as well and get the res through. Books are available. This is really stacked location in terms of loot. Find practically everything you need. We are cutting it a little bit short right now, though, Mark, in terms of getting into the circle. But again, there's so many ridge sides around here that there's a huge amount of space that's cut off, and with the circle moving down towards the southwest. Oh my god. Could not be a better time.
Would have looked at this. There's obviously this map, this river. The rivers always attract the zones, right? And this sort of dried out riverbed. We see so many sort of play down towards the south. Whap, whap, whap. I love it. Observers having fun with it. So is it a gamble? Yeah, 100%. But I think a lot of these teams are going to be positioning up that it was going to play back that way before bouncing back. So that's why we kind of seen balls. That's kind of why we see construction workers working for that high ground, because all these teams are going to path their way in onto that ridge line, and it's going to be a kind of a kill feed. Like the zone, like we're seeing with Storm and Request, are now sending it towards your position. If you have numbers up here, you can find yourself a hell of a lot of points.
Yeah, again, I think the gamble's good right now for Jocko Benito. I didn't take a knock there, no. Just healing. I think for Jocko Benito, you take a gamble on the western side, try and work it out. Circle could move over there. As a 4-man, yeah, they're going to have to make some decisions towards the late game. But yeah, like you say, good play from them. X-Hal, though, on the approach, they're making a wraparound for themselves. This is a very unexpected position for Jocko Benito to deal with. They've already cleared all of this southwest side, so I don't think they would expect a team rocking in from the southern edge. The Team Nemesis, they're going to be on the receiving ends right now. Looking to catch the X-Hal players as they move into the zone, but it's through a tree line, so they could be a little bit sneaky about this, Mark.
That can be very, very sneaky. Rotation will go around. Also gives up the higher ground to go for a full send towards the northwest to get those players back up, because they are going to need numbers there. Now, there are dead boxes. There are able to loot their way through the construction workers. They had to sort of back away slightly. The Mad has seen Diffix, but what they don't know is they were spotted by Steed as they rotated their way around. So yes, they might think they are the Predator, but I'm starting to think for Team Nemesis, they're the Predator, and for X-Hal, they become the prey.
Yeah, so do you want to see a really good setup from Team Nemesis? And you're almost considering this is absolutely what they were expecting from a team on this side of the map, where the ridge side is going to cut off so many of the sight lines on the northern edge that a team wants to wrap south to move through here. They're just so fantastic at picking up these positions. Scav, though, from No Slack. Lovely place, Panzerfaust. And although, it might not seem that easy to do, it's like you actually have to get that pretty on target towards the driver's side to get the knock with that one.
We'll get the front end of it. Looking for the res now. Steedo, who was that kind of early scout, catching Exhale on that rotation round, now finds himself in a position. Diffix down to 2 HP. He jumps back into the car for safety. He gets a bit of breathing room. There comes that zone shift away. We're going towards the town. And for Team Nemesis, though, there's 2 down. One of them confirmed out, looking for the second confirmation, and points racking on the board.
Yeah, last one was that side on Mvasi. One more player off in the distance. But X-Hal just essentially delivering the goods over towards Team Nemesis. And you know what? You start to wonder if this is their game plan to play on the edge so often that they're not getting a lot of loot on board. So they just look to corral a team in and take all of theirs. Nice name from EXE, who's been on absolute blender today. Very, very good stuff. But it's Kang Young. That is the focal point right now for all of us here, Mark.
Horrific. It's going to be chaotic, especially if it goes back to that north side, that northwest corner that we've seen that has a limitation when it comes down to where you can cover. back towards the outside edge here. No slack will have no slack and no patience as they will send it in and they will brush apart Storm on request and they will take the higher ground. But they have to take on boards. They have got the recall and the numbers are back in their favour. Back on the other side of things, obviously we are in the town. It's therefore worth mentioning, though, with Team Nemesis fighting with Exhal, Jock Benito has kind of slipped in between and now on the south side of this. So for Baldini, they find themselves with a bit of a nosy neighbour. Kadel has to try and find a position before he gets fully exposed.
Bold boys and some bold fellas in Jogo Bonito just moving in to the south side of the map. Kind of curious what as well. No one really attempted to stop them. Yeah, Can Young, a lot of interesting angles towards this town, this urban area. Good shots though from Marshall. Over towards Hive as they went past. Arzu from Winex has popped himself a Lynx AMR. And some good shots over towards boards as things goes down. Dante will fall as well, but they are under some very big amount of pressure at the moment.
Controlling it. That recall has worked in their favour. They are back to a duo. Looks like it's bleeding out. At the moment, they are farming points. Hello Sampai with 2. Here comes a BIDM from Winix now as they will look to try and scout ahead and find information. They look to find... No, I want to flatten him. No, I'm going to get the kill. Akim denies the opportunity though for the flatten as he finds them now on 2 points.
Arzu knows roughly where Hello Senpai is. Griffith goes down. A little bit of a whimper there. Marshall behind him. And right now, Arzu's a bit cornered on the side. Drops out, tries to get the barrel shots in. And
he's dead
because of it. Kind of an interesting maneuver. You know?
Yeah.
Offered himself on a great big golden plate.
Oh, wow. Hive come in and Hello Sampai finds himself with a tank and says thank you very much. Oh, he jumps out and gives it up as well. Too confident. He's going to fall. This now going to be the conqueror of the BRDM of Doom. Ansu looks for the grenade, underarm. Now he swaps over and go towards the other side. Akim is now going to fall, but that comes in from the construction workers, so the point should maybe go towards this. That's as though now shows off his prize, which is the BRDM.
This BRDM's cursed. Would not be surprised to see this go down soon. Right, comedy of errors on this side of the map. A lot of things going wrong. Not sure what Arzu was even thinking when he posted up. The main issue I have with that, Mark, is that he looked at both the players. He looked at both of the eyes and was like, I'm getting out.
I'm in the sandwich. Yeah, I'm going to jump out right in the middle. Why not? Yeah, I'm with you on that. They look though, style, drift, car swap, moving his way in. Zone shifts towards that northwest is dangerous. A lot of these teams are trying the defense, so it's a bit of a roll of the dice there. And unfortunately for the construction workers, Diffix will find the final blow here and they will fall. 10th place for them. And it is a hard approach. One team is going to remain on this sort of west side. And Team Nemesis, though, working around in that southwest corner.
You know, we've been having a lot of fun in the meanwhile. The circles moved away from Can Young. Really felt like it was going to be dropping over towards that urban area in terms of finish, but leaving now in terms of the city is very hard. For Yo, way more of an easier approach for them. They were already on that south side. They're going to try and swing out towards that eastern edge. No Tag has eyes upon them though, but with the shots they were taking from last game, don't think they're going to hit any. No flame.
Send Yo on the east. As the beach from the east come rolling in, they have a little ridge line they can play up. I do worry for this town. It's either a committing to the town or it's a commit to the northwest corner. And it does look like we are going to go northwest, so it's going to be focal points now. Everyone in the town here, blank, can just look across towards the west and go, where can I get some kills from? Because only one team should be able to survive out.
Yeah. Diffex is just, he's somewhere else, man. Honestly.
Yeah.
I love the way he plays. Set that up nicely, get yourself in a little bit of cover. Panzerfaust, go on for the long
distance
range.
Go on, Diffix.
Please. I actually beg.
I think he did launch it. I think it had the explosion in the distance. Whether it was towards this way or towards another way, we don't know. Diffix, though, looking forward. Scav finds that BRDM. 4 kills for them. Scouting information forward. Now, he has a snake in the grass, so he has to be careful from Winnick's point of view. Stratos, though, using that defensive play here for that BRDM. They'll wiggle their way down the rocks, but make sure it stays in safety.
Viz is definitely showing a lot of their hand right now. And the ops are after him. Not looking to let him leave quietly. More and more shots hitting this BRDM. It's starting to A little bit dicey on this bad boy. Going to send it over towards No Slack. Scav understands he's under pressure. Gets on top of the rock here. It's the only thing keeping him safe.
Why is everyone jumping out in the middle of the teams? No one will fall. No Slack. Spread. Snake in the grass right there. Here comes the grenade. Comes out. No strategies. He's cooked an 8. He can't think about getting back in. And they can potentially get the confirmation, but it's stolen away. Comes from the other side of things, though. This confirmation goes for them. Winnix will fall down. Onto had to make a decision. He had to make it quick and well played there from the team.
Yeah, I mean, Viz had to quickly carve themselves out a little bit of space for them to play, like you were saying. It's the only thing they could have done there. No Slack, though. You know, they've been playing it very well. They've been loving the momentum they've been given. In the meantime, Yo's been playing a very, very quiet game over towards that eastern side. It has not been the greatest of cups for them so far. Only 3 points, but may be able to make a bit of a difference right now. But you can see No Slack has eyes on and not much capability to get any of their players back up again now.
Look at the play from Team Nemesis. They've gone for a 2-2. They are literally sweeping the outside edge at the moment. They're kind of taking rock by rock, clearing it out, using util, then stopping, getting more util. They're like bouncing apart these rocks like a pinball in a pinball machine. And at the moment, they're clearing up as many kills as they can. But more importantly, they're getting a reload, a restock of the utility.
That's what Diffex does. That's what Team Nemesis does best. Just a sweeping play style. They're very happy to take fights. Very happy to manipulate teams. Even when they go down to lower players, a lot of times it feels like they're sacrificing their pawns, right? Where, you know, they'll lose one, but it will be in favor of grabbing further position inside the circle. And if they go out in second place because they've got 12 kills off the back.
Oh, what a Kobe! Oh my god! Diffix off the top of the BRDM and condunked this, though, into oblivion. And Sosadi claimed the prize. The cursed BRDM. It lives to fight another day.
Right, this guy is insane. Diffex just, I'm so impressed. Getting the bounce off the front of the vehicle is crazy work, dude. So sad I'm moving up over towards No Slack. GTG and everybody's will find Sata as he was looking awry, and they will steal the kill in the meantime. Oh Christ.
What Team Nemesis built different. That's what I'm going to say. So Steve read the kill feed. I think he was itching, waiting to see if that body was theirs on his rock. He pulled his way around, so opportunity gained. Unfortunately for Jogo Benito, they look like they're going to try and claim the kills now. Zone continuing to look to sweep across towards this west side, and one team needs to remain. Team Nemesis down a body, up a BRDM though. And for No Slack, they're looking to try and close the gap though, as the zone, well, 7 seconds away before closing out.
Panzerfaust, thank you very much. So me, EXE spotted now by Team Nemesis. So said, as well as Melman. We'll be taking a look at that one.
Rest we go again.
We've got any nades left. Might be able to make something happen here. Very nadeable position, but I genuinely think utility's starting to run very dry at this point in the game. Melman's got 3. He needs to get a little bit further. He gets 1 tag off, but quite enough. Oh yeah, come on.
All about clearing this fight quickly.
Come
as
on,
if it's going to deliver a package. Doesn't quite catch it. The cars are going to go. Fortunately for IX, he's down to 1 HP. He's going to have to dance the dance, though, and keep alive. Another nade will go through. Team Nemesis want to try and clear this, again, as quickly as they possible, because we have left the town. It's going to be a bit of a bloodbath. Baldini needs to get moving. Jogo Benito needs to get moving. And no tag teams might be the final players, might be the final team. That's why they're committing everything they can to get rid of IXE.
Yeah, they need to remove him right now because team's going to start moving up. There is a big amount of loot crates dropped off on the northwest side. Circle moves fully away now from Kang Young. And yeah, there you're right. You have to move up over towards this ridge side. Watch all the teams coming out. There's going to be a shooting gallery right now for Team Nemesis if they can play the cards right.
Like, the teams in the town need to team up here. I know it's a silly thing to say, but without that, they are going to fall. Jogo Benito losing a body. Slavin playing parkour mode. He looks to try and stop that. It's going to give him a bit of breathing room, a bit of breathing time to get that res back on. Aldini have to go back to the belly of the beast. Rafa will fall. Panzerfaust will come through us. No tag team to wrap around that other side. Ghetto Gang final body for them on this side here. has to try and defend. He has to try and wait for the players to come back in. Grenade will come through, and unfortunately, though, for no tag team, it's 1, 2, and done. Unable to manage the chaos yet again. We go to a top 4.
Ghetto Gang having a great day so far. The 3 kills on this game, multiple top 4 finishes for them today. Really good stuff. This is a cheeky angle right now coming through from Diffex. He's about to hit all the shots over towards Ghetto Gang. I am 5 takes another tag. These are some dirty peaks coming through as well, but
overconfident.
Pushes his luck. Yeah, and he knows it. He knows it.
This is a bloodbath. A bloodbath. Team Nemesis might just get a pass, though, because everyone's dying in the zone. They set the firing line up here. 11 kills at the moment. Jogabenito striving their way out, but they strive their way in 3rd place. It's a 3 versus 2, technically. Diffix, though, with the additional confidence peak. Well, the peak is not going to be more. So I can see this going down to a 3 versus 2, but they are open. They have to run the gauntlet.
I mean, technically, for Diffex here, good shots from Sosa. Technically, from Diffex, I think it's fine that he goes down there. He pushes them back so long that him in that position just causes some real problems. And it goes out with a cacophony of bullets sent through to Ghetto Gang. Team Nemesis, 12 kills on the game, and a fantastic chicken dinner from them.
It was always going to come down to the west, and Team Nemesis sweep their way through that southwest corner to be the conquerors, though, of match number 3. Good play from them. 12 kills, a 22-point game. And at this point, how many more points can this team get to put onto the top of that leaderboard?
Yeah, just not enough teams play Edge like they do. I think there's far too many teams overall in the PEC Cups to play center. I think that is one of the biggest problems. So many squads tried to go for Kang Young early, and everybody knows that if the circle moves away from you and everyone opts to go city, you're gonna have a terrible time. You're likely not gonna make it out alive. For Team Nemesis, though, really well played. I think that Diffex is the man of the match here, undoubtedly.
Oh, we should bring in man of the match. Oh, that'd be a good additional. Production, take notes. We need man of the match here. Scoreboard, though, from this one. It's no surprise. 22 points, though, will be going in the arms, the loving arms of Team Nemesis. Jogabenito are in 2nd. Ghetto Gang unable to find the kills as they will fall with 3rd. It's difficult. Let's talk about the city, right? I've always been told, and this might not be the pro tip that everyone needs to take note of, never commit yourself to a city unless you 100% know it's going to be an end in there. And I worry. We have so many zones like this where especially Kang Young will come into play, and people will go thinking it's safe, we can get there. And every time, guys and girls, it always plays out towards that northwest corner. So unless you're like a Jogabenito, unless you're like a Baldini and positioned on that west side, because you know it's going to play out towards that way, you're only farming for kills, because at that point, unless you're really lucky, it's really hard to win.
I think that when you look at that, Yo's probably one of the few teams that I'm like, I really like the way they played that out. They had that option to move over towards that northeast side. If the circle moved out over towards the northeast, they would have had a great game off the back of that one. Sadly, it moves over towards the northwest, but they always had an option of how to leave Kang Young when it came down to it. A lot of teams just got a little bit too stuck into it on that center of Kang Young on the basically the high street of that area. So yeah, tough stuff. Very tough stuff. But I think for Team Nemesis, it's hard to say anything other than that was just a very perfectly played game from them. Very difficult to deal with what they were able to achieve on that northwest side. Ghetto Gang, though, 36 points on the day is some really good stuff, and no slack. Yeah, 22 kills. The 3 placement points makes me feel a little bit iffy about the squad. And Starry Sky still kind of riding on first game's coattails at the moment.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But it does mean a big difference when we come look at this leaderboard and the overall leaderboard of the Cups. So obviously week 1 done, week 2 done. We're in week number 3. As I said, when we finish off match number 5, the points will be... a line will be drawn underneath the points, and they'll be added to a team that's already on here. Or if you're a new team, you'll get inserted must be somewhere around the bottom. So for that Team Nemesis, Jogabenito, construction workers, etc., they are kind of continuing to drive their way up, and they are putting a big divide between that top 3 and everyone else. We will talk very much about that kind of week 4, week 5 a little bit later. But it's as we come down, we're seeing Ghetto Gang there, we're seeing No Slack now in arguably secure spots. Ghetto Gang, okay, yeah, they want to finish off today a nice bang, another maybe 10, 20 points in there, and you're riding comfortable, right? Yes, they are going to be looking to try and qualify again, but as we sort of roll our way down, it's as we start looking at these teams. Team Baldini is now working their way up towards 13th. Starry Sky 19th, not good. not great. They need to try and survive out an early drop.
Yeah, I think for Starry Sky, you need one more good game today to make it worth getting into this one. Because like you say, like this team hadn't qualified 2 weeks in a row. What's to say that they'll qualify for next week? I think that you need to set a strong statement coming into the first week that you're in the weekly cups. And that first game was great. I love the way they played it. I think they've had some decent moments since then. It's not quite a 30-40 pointer at the end of this one. No tag team, again, a little bit disappointed in this match. I still think they're a very scrappy, fun squad to watch, and I do hope that they can bring things back up to speed.
This is the really interesting bit, this part here, right? Aurora Gaming came in early for us, and they're an org, they're a name, we know the players, they've been picked up, and they've just been unable to get through towards the cup. They've fallen short on different stages of the qualification. Now they have points on the leaderboard, and it's 19. Is it going to be enough? I don't think so. I do think it's going to be potentially below, well below a cutoff line, as we know it's a little bit higher up, right? But for the likes of No Tag Team, yes, they might be struggling with the late game. Like, I can hold my hands up with that, right? But their ability to get to late game is really, really strong. For me, the skill's great. They are able to take the gunfights. These little changes, these little tweaks, they dial things up, is the difference between them potentially launching away from a 19 or 22 position, 19 point, potentially up to a qualifying spot. They just need to keep going. And this week is the game changer for me, for them. Get some more points on the board, get qualified again for next week. Absolutely.
And again, for next week, there is always that chance that you can get yourself a first place spot and just get yourself straight through. So we will see.
Or you think it's going to come from lower down the leaderboard? That'd be interesting. That would be interesting.
Yeah, I would like it. I would like it.
Like the random team that's come in on 1 week and get a straight win and qualifying straight through to the playoffs.
It'd be annoying. It'd be annoying for some teams towards the top, but it make for a good story.
Well, I'll give you the storyline, but you also got to factor the teams at the top majorly qualified. So I do worry in the pre-shows. You said, at what point did some of these teams get a little bit more chaotic, get more bullyish, especially from playing, or start trying other things like drop spots, dropping in on other teams that actually is not to be expected. So I do worry, but I will take the storyline.
Yeah. Again, I think it's more likely that Team Nemesis or Construction Workers, the one to qualify next week in week 3 and 4 and 5, sorry. But again, there's always that outside chance, especially with, week 1, Jogo Benito, they were on top. Not a team that we expected to be on top, but they certainly were. And they're still giving it large now. And I think that with the buff that they had, at the beginning, and with what they've been able to put up for the last 2 weeks, I think they're fine. Fine now. I think they need to do too much more going into these final weeks of play. They should be qualified. No slack off the back of some pretty slick performances, mainly from EXE today. He has been an absolute star. They gotta buy this guy a meal, gotta buy him a pint tonight, something, because he has really got themselves towards a very, very good position on the leaderboard today.
Yeah, they are doing it strong. That's 3 maps done. It is a best of 5 today as we will finish things up. We've got to get ready as we leave the condos, go to Rondo before we end things up, though, where we started on a wrangle. Rondo day blank, well, that can bring us some chaos, some different moves, some different shakers. A definite game for me where we find teams potentially try to send the center, and we've already seen it's not quite working out for everyone. Only Starry Skies in that first map, and did they get there by luck? I'm not quite sure. So Rondo, a lot to play for.
Yeah, I think for Rondo, it's been fun so far, but we've seen a lot. For the past 2 weeks, we've seen Jadena City. We haven't really seen much outside of that area of the map. I want to see something over towards the northwest, potentially. I want to see something over towards the northeast side of the map. It's been too often that we've been having teams been forced down towards this southeast side, where it's actually one of the more rocky areas of the map. Kind of plays a little bit more out like you would see an endgame Miramar over towards the north side of that map. I want to see some more Rondo action. I want to see some more fun with it. I do think that they're a little, or what do we call it, mansion on steroids. That was fun. I enjoyed that. That was really good. I want to see some more of that, please.
Let's see another team I want to see some more of, though, and we've got to talk about, we have to bring it up, is Team Yo. James's team, PWD, Michael. We have to talk about it. We have to talk about it.
They're fine.
They're not fine. They are fine. They're in the finals. They are putting points on the board. But for what I can see at the moment, not where I would personally expect from these heavy gunners. I think a lot of the teams, a lot of the fans and the players out there will be expecting them to be delivering more. Something doesn't feel right. Do you think it's this kind of one scouting move that's working out? Are they going to 2 more maps left to go? Do they continue with that game plan, or do they try things differently?
I think that so far, most of the plays have been okay. I think there needs to be a little bit more trust in PWD that when he clears an area, they daisy chain to him quicker. I also think that some of the fights they've been taking have been messy. I think that's their biggest problem right now. Is the fights are a little bit too messy in my eyes. That's hard to fix though, and I can say that, and I don't really have a set solution. I feel bad for that, right? Because I think that's just more time with the team. That's coordination inside the squad, right? It's communication. It's how do we want to take this fight? Who's going to be taking these shots? What off angle do you want? It's hard to fix. It's hard to fix. But I think the overall game plan from Yo is good, right? And I think that's what's difficult when I look at this team, because I don't mind most of the time what they're doing. And I'd have to be very nitpicky to go back on their maps and be like, I don't really like this, or this could have been wrong. I just think some of the fights are messy, and their zone control just isn't the best right now.
For me, I'm with you. For me, it's just that like they're playing like the next step up, like in a qualifier, in like a regional final, where you kind of know where the players and players going to be. And sometimes in the cup, sometimes in the qualifiers, it's a little bit more chaotic, a lot more third-party action. So it's just trying to deal with that level of chaos.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's true as well.
Let's deal with some more chaos. Why? Because it is Rondo time. It is going to be match number 4, the penultimate game, though, as we get underway. The flight path over this one is going to be coming in from that kind of northwest down towards the southeast. So we are teasing you with a Grenada City. Potentially, I think we are going to go for northwest. Bring on Jouting, baby.
No. Yeah, I mean, Northwest would be fun. I'd be down for a stadium, you know. I'd be down for a little bit of that. Grenada City, not so much. Let's not go down there.
We never used to get zones there until you came along, Lang. You and your DBS shotguns, mate. There's some cities down in the southeast corner.
It is funny because I was like, I really quite like a Grenada City finish. We got one. I'm kind of sick of it now already.
Careful what you ask for, kids. That's what you say.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. You know, don't write what you wish for down. And then it
we did see that. We did see everyone up on the skyscrapers having a fight to the time of their life.
We did. That was fun. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Maybe Tin Long Garden next. That could be cool. I'll be okay with that. Yeah.
I've not had a Tin Long Garden. I've had it on the outside. I've not seen a southeast corner. There's a lot of water down there, so it'd be quite difficult for it to sort of play down that neck of the woods. Jouting there. There you go. We're not going that way. Nice. We're going across to the west.
Yeah, I like that. That's nice. That's good.
It's a good tuning. Obviously, really, really good section, which we have no tag team sitting in the moment. Again, it's an issue where you sort of hold down. You don't quite get the angle, especially down towards that southwest, because you've got a little bit of high ground there. Oh, cinematic. Love it. And obviously his teams will start to rotate their way in. There's a lot more space up for grabs this start of zone. There is a level of verticality that teams do need to factor in again. And obviously with the rice field, it's very difficult to rotate on the west. So again, teams need to pick their path in really, really well. But big shout to our observers, though. They're picking up all of the action early on. And it's like a Spielberg movie.
It is, yeah. Yeah. Very much like a Spielberg movie. Because, you know, if we had some... slightly different director, maybe all over the place, but for Spielberg, you know, it's good, chronological, catches all the action, gives you the ideas you need. Storm on the beaches. That's right. Wow. That's right.
Here's the area. Here's the heart. Here's the soul of Rondo. Our penultimate game, match number 4 of 5. And yeah, this is what you can see, the verticality in the southwest corner. It plays downhill from here. But we can see on the mini-map, though, O'Connor is coming back, so he's coming towards the base of this pillar. Unless these guys have an emergency pickup, obviously if they did try to play it from here, it'd be coming away from this area as well. So I suppose for them, they've got to keep an eye on that high ground, make sure no one sort of inserts themselves into a dangerous spot, especially from teams sort of playing in from that north side.
Look, no slack at the moment in Jouting. Still just keeping things nice and calm. I think this is the first time No Slacks had a fairly chilled out early game. I think actually, you know what I'm going to say here, Mark? I'm going to say this is the first time that I think all of our teams would have chilled out start of the game. Most of the other matches has been insane.
It's always Rondo though. It's the bigger map that's still being learned. So it's like, I still think people are playing up. Guys and girls, there are discords out there where people go, we're dropping here and we're landing here. Whether they stay to those drop zones and stuff like that, there's a bit of
different story.
I suppose there's some niceties to it. They kind of play the gentlemanly sport and try and spread their landing spots. But when it comes down to tournaments and teams that want to qualify and not qualify, it doesn't always keep as calm, cool, and collective as we would expect.
Now, why would you? You know, you got to introduce a little bit of chaos, inject a little bit of
That's why you're here, Blanks.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why you're here.
That's why I'm here. That's why they threw me in. They're like, you know, we need a bit of madness into it, and they're like, this guy's pretty silly, so we'll throw him in. And it seems to be working. Seems to be working. I didn't ask for that, but yeah, okay.
Yes, you did several times. Stayed in City. You went to Northwest. It's like you're demanding of the PUBG gods, mate. Like, how much are you going to take from them?
It's just who I am. It's just who I am. All right, I can't help it. I can't help it. That's all right. I'm down with it, and it feels like the players maybe don't enjoy it as much, but that's okay. It's entertaining. That's the main thing. People are enjoying it. That's why we're here. At the end of the day, that's what we like to see. Speaking of, for everyone who has been watching the last 3 weeks with me and Mark, big shout out to you. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching the shows. We appreciate you. PUBG Esports coming right at you. PEC, it'll be around for 2 more weeks, give or take.
We're gonna give you lots of love in chat. I love this. When we go to the winter break and we finish, we have the big PGC. We're like, oh my god, it's amazing. And then it's quiet. I'm like, oh my god, what do we do? And now we are like full swing. PUBG Esports every single week. We are delivering, whether it's going to be from the qualifiers, which is what we're looking through here. And again, you guys at home, you can just get involved. You see on the breaks, you scan the QR code and sign up on the website. Get you and your team in and see if you've got what it takes to qualify. And if you have, work your way down. As I said to a lot of people, and for the week before I had a load of messages like, oh Mark, thanks very much, I signed up. Yes, we didn't get through the first phase, but we're going to go back again.
It's
and
fun.
maybe try again, and you just target yourself to get through to day number 2. And once you find yourself getting comfortable to day number 2, find yourself to day number 3, and so on and so on. Before you know it, you're fighting in the cups, and then you've got us two waffling about you as you're making great gameplays.
Exactly. You getting involved doesn't mean you have to sign up for a team. You know, you could just be in chat calling Mark a genius when he makes some of these calls, and me a numpty, because I am.
It's been the other way around today, isn't it? No. I picked up Starry Sky and I went out straight away.
Hey, no, you picked Starry Skies and they did fantastic at the start of the day, and then they've let you down.
Falling the wayside.
Yeah.
To about falling wayside, these teams are starting to fall on in. Pretty much everyone is in zone. Team Nemesis, though, one of the last to come in that southeast corner. And then when the only other team is Ghetto Gang, who are very much in the north side, in the sandy dunes. That is Rondo. When X finds Hello Sunby, able to put into car, able to be able to put in towards safety. But these teams are just kind of farming damage, so to speak. I can't see a crash on just yet. Especially for this map, it's all about those rotation kills, and obviously everyone's sort of setting their stall out now. Depends on where this zone shifts, and you have to look at this because there is water on the south side. We have seen it play towards the south side because phase 1 to 3 can be random, but everyone's sort of setting their stall out, hoping, praying that the zone comes back their way.
It's a lot of area, right? It's a lot of area that you can't really control. This map is ginormous, and it's not until I would say Zone 4, Zone 5, you can really make a clear, concrete decision on where you want to play and why you want to play there. For the time being, like I say, it's all about early rotational kills, gathering value where you can get it. Seeing Scav and the BRDM here, yeah, why not? Take the shots towards it. Highest have a number right now. They've only got 1 kill on the board. Over towards No Slack, I believe, as well, the highest finding that from, because No Slack is down to 3 players at the moment. Sick of them.
Farm information, right? But you've got to be cautious. Again, it's about, as the guy said the other day, you've got to keep this alive. You've got to be able to sort of work your way and find the dips, find the crevices. And one of the biggest advantages, especially from the TPP perspective, is driving. You're able to farm so much more information. Keep the car in safety, in this case keep the BRDM in safety, but gain information for the team. They are down to 3. IXE, a big player, a big loss, as you mentioned. They need to get their chip, need to get to this recall center, and they're going to do that in style with the BRDM.
Yeah, fantastic. Excellent way of getting into the circle as well as the BRDM. For Nozlak, even easier way to get themselves over towards the recall center, like you say, with little to no issues. Spotting them on the way out. Let's get straight back in the zone. Might need to pick up the gas tank on the way in, but that's it. Getting EXE back up as well is very important, considering this guy has put in the most amount of work for Nozlak today. Oh, he's already got one. He's already got a gas can. You know, he fought ahead.
That's why they're here and we're here. That's why they're playing and we're sitting on the desk, mate. They know. Get the RTM, find the gas cans.
Find the gas cans. This guy's thinking ahead. Unlike me, I'm in the moment. I'm in the present.
Imagine us playing. We'd be chaotic. Quick, let's move. Oh no, quick, no, stop. Oh, I need a gas can. Oh, quick, back at the drop site. Go back.
You never know.
Planning well ahead.
They never know what we're doing next. Okay.
Oh,
right. That's sneaky. The element of. I'm also surprised by my own gameplay.
It's a different type of surprise. Team Nemesis though, 39 points, currently on the top spot though. Get a Gang are entering the zone on the north. And Starry Skies has entered in on the east. Really played well for them. They're on 22 points. So again, this is about trying to close off the day with about the maximum amount of points they can. Rondo is a map which I believe is something they can deliver a lot of points, especially for Starry Skies. They have entered in that sort of northeast corner. The zone bounces back towards the northeast. So with Yulin still being in, with no tag team finding themselves on that side of the mountain, O'Connor, he can't get caught here. He should be looking at this guy, and there's a lot of teams that are going to start pushing our way. Where do we want to lock down? Because Yulin is a huge area to try and defend as a fort.
Yeah, it's really hard. I think that for pretty much when you play this position, you try and hold as much area as you can early, and then you give space. Right? You try to do as much damage as possible, then you give space, and it's the only way you can really play this. Difficulty is that Jogo Benito is assaulting this with 2 players, which feels wrong to me in my eyes, but I have also been very wrong about how Jogo Benito plays in the past. Maybe they find some value off this. I don't know. Baldini's also moving over towards this position whilst X-Hal is giving them some trouble. Though the team that I'm most focused on this game has to be Yo. I'm really curious to see how they're going to play this off. And already, they're running into one of the most fearsome teams inside the lobby. This is a tough start for them.
Yeah, caught that rotation now on that southeast corner here. Looks like we'll get one. Michael don't get at least a hit back. And Jogo Benito backed into a corner. Baldini eager to get points on because they're one of these teams that are on the cutout. I would have personally reversed out first tap, but I suppose he's reversed it for more of a shield approach. No one can crash in. And he does line up the defensive line. And there's a secondary. There's a shield underneath.
It's a good spot to play in. I think Jogo Benito, one of their greatest strengths and their biggest weaknesses is that they have absolutely no fear a lot of times. I think teams avoid them for that reason, which gives them a lot more space inside the zone. But I do think for Jogo Benito, it comes back to bite them quite frequently too. We're up to 2 players here, but you know, if that worked out over towards Baldini, suddenly they hold up a lot more area of the map. So it's a choice. It's a choice of how they play. Circle is over towards Yulin once again, a little bit closed in on this area. You know, having players coming back into the lobby right now. So with balls potentially looking for an E pickup. I don't know how they're going to play this one out.
They're going to EP from that southwest corner. I kind of like Noddy's position, Slavin's position. It's difficult to keep numbers alive. They are going to get, I suppose, an element of pressure. I think you're right. I think people would look at that as Jogo Benito and know that team can be creative. And if that's the case, then actually, do you know what? Do we want to apply an early pressure? Diffix finds Vars as he runs them over, though. Go back towards the fight, though, as Hive They look to get the early knocks on, but it actually goes against him as Schengen will fall. Confirmation, no, Dante is going to be there. The split is not working out for them at the moment. No, Dante has to peek around the other side. Does jump out the right side of the cards. Goes for the seat swap. Nice play from him. Goes for the grenade. Forces the hand now as he comes on the left peak. And the left peak is never great, though, as Storm Request will get another kill confirmed.
Very nice. Storm Request taking down quite a few players there coming through from Hive. That's 2. Boars do make their way in. I think Boars already had an outpost over towards Yulin, and we are just about to have our circle shift happen. It's over towards that north side, so a lot of people are centering over towards Yulin, but we're having a very, very similar situation to Kang Young from last game. Does this just fully go over towards that north side now? In which case, Team Nemesis is about to take shots at everyone that tried to confirm over towards Yulin. I would say, though, Yulin, I'd say it's a huge area. We'll park that for the time being. Check out WinX up against Viz here, Mark. Yeah,
it's park it for long, do we?
Yeah, it's...
Jeez Louise.
It's blinked out of existence. Let's go back to our previous point. For Yulin...
This is a horrible section, though. Like,
yeah.
Back to your Yuling bit, right? That's wonderful. Yuling, where season teams flood in. It's not even, it's just how barren, how open that north side is. It's going to be horrific. It's a double-pronged attack, though, and it comes flying in. Exhale, though, to fly in via the walls tonight as they come straight through. 1, 2, and done. They should be able to get something up. What a defensive play.
Yeah, what I need now is like to have the faces, the players from Choco Benito just placed on some bowling pins, and then the PUBG guy roll the level 3 helmet down the bowling alley, and we hit a strike. Because what a play there from X. How seriously explosive. No tag though, trying to get some nades in. They're a bit off target though, and Oda Mavasi might be able to get back on his feet here. Bolty in the hands of Naylor looking for something special over towards the no tag team, but not quite finding it just yet. Rafa and O'Connell, they will be on the receiving end of something special. It's from Baldini taking them down. This is chaos.
Hey guys,
it's just chaos.
Hey guys, turn around. I need a lift.
Yeah.
No, they're not. They've left him.
They've
Vince
actually
like,
peaced out.
They're like, now we're fighting people. Still a request here. You're on your own. He gets him down to a one shot. Habibi, great shots. Looking for a final blow. Doesn't quite get it. Back to the seat. Lost the momentum in the car. And don't forget, he's lost the mate. Out in the field would on to be the saving grace. Found the car. I'll give him that. And for Pains, he now has to turn back, reinforce their position as they've been stopped completely in their tracks.
Yeah, posting up on this rock at the time being. James will get knocked out. That's Yo. Down to 3 players. So they actually survived and weathered the storm versus Team Nemesis, and it even looks like they won out during versus Team Nemesis while we were distracted by all the silliness happening for the rest of the lobby. No slack. One of our favourite teams for today, honestly. Still doing well in this one. Held on to the BRDM. Crucial in getting EXE back up into the game. And they're rotating in from that northwest side. And like you said, coming back to your previous point, Mark, such a barren area. BRDM is a massive, massive gift for you here.
Problem is, if they peek over a ridgeline, Mogul is waiting. He just needs to keep disciplined and keep hold of the Panzer. So it might be one ridge too far. We'll have to wait and see. It is going to be all these ridges. Here comes that shift out of Yuling as we expected it to be. Good play for some. I like construction workers. Hold Yo. Oh, going for a full YOLO send. Michael will fall down. PWD. He's dancing. He's spinning. He's going to fall as well. And they are just being laid to waste by multiple teams.
Yeah, lasered. I mean, for me in that situation, I think you take a Hail Mary approach, right? I think you know this area is likely locked down on multiple teams. Just crash onto SNK. Like, try and get into that building. Because I think SNK, they already have a massive target on their backs. A lot of teams looking their way. Don't really understand the outpost there. I mean, you're going to have to move across and try and pick him back up again, just trying to scout. But you have one of the only compounds. I think you just dig deep here and wait for late game.
He's seen some players. How? Okay, for Scav, he now needs to. He's seen the information. He knows there's a team there. He knows they're in zone. I just worry that he's going to use the ridgeline. He's going to get sneaky and trying to figure out how many are in the dip, and he's going to step on a landmine, and that landmine is going to be a Panzer.
It's going to happen eventually. I've got a lot of players, more and more, as time has gone on. They've started to at least have one or two.
Here he goes.
Particularly coming out from Yulin.
Here he goes.
Likely a Panzer.
Oh, he got that time.
Good step out. Good step out.
Oh, IXE, the prize. It's not for one. Oh my God, he tries to go for the drop shot though. Rocks though, tumble and a fall, and Hive, though they have been extinguished. The beekeepers of our No Slack team will find the area, and what a step out though from that BRDM to stay alive, and they keep the bodies up and they claim the turf.
They were found wanting in that location. Really well done to No Slack. What a jump out as well. Saw the horrible missile coming towards him and just opted to let the BRDM take the punishment. But that is the BRDM off the map, but it did not keep Hive alive. And now it will be the boys on No Slack going a little bit further. They hear the shots from Storm Request from that south side. They might look to just take them out here. Honestly, Scav looks to scout out.
Storm Request actually delivering thunderbolts from the skies. As paintings will fall from a mortar, followed up by the shots. So good 2-2 split for them. Yeah, you can already see No Slack are scouting this way. Zone starting to leave. As Yulin will be no more. X-How. I think they will be the focal point for a lot of these teams now as they have to exit. And for a team which started their no tag down to a solo player, so might be able to sneak their way out, but got to juggle the blue.
Grim. Absolutely grim. I tell you on this circle, X-How just about have a place they can squirrel themselves away for the time being. Get a gang, gonna make the crash over towards the ridge side. Over towards SNK. Looking over towards No Slack now. Tries to block the bullets, but only ends up taking one to the dome himself.
That's your point. I'm so surprised we have not been more aggressive here for SNK. Yes, they are puffing their feathers out, but the zone shift away. You kind of look at this area as a key. Great grenade comes out. Sancho will fall down. He's got no more heavy util. Only that blue zone. Well, that's rubbery. That's going to bounce in the right direction. That's going to cause some damage. The spray will go through down to a one-shot. April ducks the cover, and SNK get the freedom. But look at this. Starry Skies take the opportunity. They're backfilling the compound here. SNK haven't looked back the other way. April causing some problems for them, though. But when they turn and tuck tail to go to safety, they've got new neighbours right behind them.
Yeah, I think you had to, again, this is the way you've got to play his compound. You get a couple of knocks, right? You get a couple of kills, and then you've got to quickly wrap back again because people are looking towards this location. It's one of the only safe spots left inside the circle right now. Of course, people want the top of that, and so now it's down to Poppy as well as Pikasox to really make this one work. But in the meantime, Starry Skies, they have managed at the Falling Star to get themselves lodged in on the compound. Baldini will... Yeah. That's a 1v4?
Yeah. Jeez.
Goodness me. Oh, wow.
Take him out. Deny him. You say Falling Star, say Shooting Star. They've shot their way in towards a key position. SNK, if they can clear them out, they need to draw. Construction workers will keep an eye on this one, but they might go draw their eye towards the south because it will be a bloodbath. And Houdini find themselves on 9 kills at the moment. 5. Matabi have to try and juggle the blue zone. Is working its way in. Doffy's looking to try and get kills as well as he gets another kill. Confirmed they were the landers here, but unfortunately they're down the bodies here as Baldini doesn't want to take any more, especially when it comes from running its way through the town. To wrap out in the southeast corner.
Tyler's just waiting on this side. Doesn't have to peek too often as well. Nice guys, they did take a couple of knocks there. I think maybe a nade went through or two. Got a gang still holding with April on that northern edge.
Poppy knows. He's not dropped the ball at least. I'll give him that. They know there's a single body out there. They know there's an opportunity zone shift this way, but it's not shifted enough. The Mad finds Doffy's. They will fall. No tags in 12th place. Handful of kills. That is about it. I'll say a handful. It's only one. Everyone has been res. Here come the teams that are going to fall though. Boars will fall straight after, and then this will be the same. 10th place still not in the placement points just yet. And Poppy having to juggle the good fight. It's 2 versus 3 one way. but it's also 2 versus 1 the other.
Really hard position for No Slack to play right now. The decision they have to make is not easy because they can have a pressure over towards that north side, but then suddenly they let Storm request out. They allow construction workers to work their way up towards that northwest side. They have to basically just stay still. They have to sandwich between both these locations and keep eyes on both. It's a very, very good rotation from construction workers using that little bit of a mound off on their northwest side to cut contact between them and No Slack. Very, very good knowledge of the map here coming through from this squad.
This is going to all come down to map knowledge. I'm with you on that. It's a difficult area. An area we've seen played, but more towards the south. Definitely more open terrain here. No Slack have to try and defend. However, is down. Sata has been confirmed. It's down to Scav and IXE. You see the split. Storm and Request have been divided. They've been punishing this side. They're not looking to get more kills confirmed on the board. They're now up to 6. A good play for them. They are making a last attempt on the leaderboard here in the penultimate game. And Scav, well, going to deny the opportunity for them to rotate as quickly as they did last time, or at least try and get back to get the res.
I mean, No Slack down to just 2 players now. It's unfortunate their outpost went down, but good roll up from Storm and Request. Darvish though going their way once again. Nice nade as well coming through from No Slack, taking down plenty of players there from Storm Request. That will be them out of the lobby. Really, really well done. Up to 7 kills on the game now, 33 points total. Like I said, we're looking for a 40-point finish for No Slack, and they will be very pleased with that one. Construction workers, these are 2 from themselves, Gustav and Var, but can't really count these players out just yet.
No, good smoke wall. Vard, you can see he's like looking down. He's using that top just to ridge over to try and get some information. So he gets the idea exactly where he launched the nade. Nade goes out. Scav gets Fex confirmed out. Another point on the board for them. Vard has to reload. He'll get another smoke out in the way because he wants to take another step forward there. He wants to get closer towards Starry Sky, who have now juggled a 2-2 splits. They're having to hold the compound, 2 playing towards a late game. So they're definitely thinking about trying to close this one out for a victory. But only 1 kill so far. They are in the top 6.
Love the foresight here coming through from Starry Skies. They couldn't just sit pretty over towards that northern edge inside the building. They had to move out at some point. Glad they do. Circle sent us up over towards No Slack. Scav with the Dragunov still putting in the work, breathing fire on construction workers. Gustav goes down and will be flushed out, and No Slack now up to 9 kills on the game, getting ever closer to that 40-point mark, which will set them as having a very, very strong running here in week 3.
This is interesting play. SNK refusing to go down. Poppy the final player for them. And forcing kind of Starry Skies to play back. Scav sweeping their way in. They've encroached on this position for quite some time. No Slack on 9 kills now. Top 4 is a 4 versus 2 versus 2 versus 2. Starry Skies looking to get the 2nd win under their belt with the numbers.
Oh yeah, two very lackluster games followed by 2 chicken dinners. It's
50% of the time it works every time for Starry Skies.
Absolutely. They're bringing Tampa to the lobby at the moment. Scav takes a big amount of damage, but EXE with the AUG into a nade at the same time. He is putting in some serious hours today.
Executable by nature. They were like, no, let's level the playing field. Everyone's having 2 apiece in this last game. You're not running away and flexing the muscles out. Here comes the play. The tag team comes up. Silencer steps up. Puts IXE down, but Scav gets Vard. So they're fighting again on 2 fronts in the middle of the zone. As another nade will come out. Silence has to be cautious. Does duck his way towards the other side. Now he's got to try and get that med back on. You see the rotation comes around that north side. The construction workers looking to try and come out, and Nalep confirms out as How will now fall. That's going to give him the freedom of movement here, but look at the send will come in. Starry Skies exposing No Slack and trying to make them a little bit of a sandwich.
All right, we're moving around the side here, trying to find himself a bit more of an angle over towards him. Azo should be able to clean out that final player, giving a little bit more room here. Sorry guys, Scav takes a massive amount of damage and will go down, but yeah, absolutely a great game from No Slack here, and we're down to a 2 versus 1 nail up. 2 players from Starry Skies looking to confirm their 2nd chicken dinner of the day. Only 14 in hand. Couple of shots to start things off with. That is about it. Might be able to take the res off the bus, actually. Good hard cover. Yeah, good hard cover from the loot crate. No reason not to.
I think two things were happening. Starry Skies didn't know where the construction was working were, so they were trying to bait shots in. They got that. They got the information. That smoke instantly from Native allowed him to pick up Vard. That's what you wanted to do. He denied the shots coming in from that west side. He has the hard coverage, you say. The only thing is that struggling with loot. He's had to swap out the vest here, and they are kind of bottlenecked together. So for Starry Skies, if they split slightly, they'll get the angles, but it's going to be down to how the construction workers play this.
It's a tough one with Starry Skies where you sort of want them to flex out a little bit more there and try and finish up the fight, but they have the high ground. They don't peek off the back of this. This is a big mistake from Starry Skies, letting construction workers get a whole lot of space for free here.
Didn't apply any pressure. They didn't apply any pressure to them. I thought they were going to try and get the angles and contain him. Construction workers sledgehammered their way out. Flash will go over the top. They do have a molly. Needs to try and figure it. Silencer makes the move round. Now he gets to peek on and he gets to cover. The shots will come in. Nailip dancing the dance as he jumps his way forward, trying to keep the left peek on, but the right peek sometimes better. Nailip gets the better of him. It's a 2 versus 1 here. And now they've got the information. Now they know exactly where they are. Nailip launching a nade towards Vard. That's close. It's not close enough.
Goodness me, it's just Starry Skies. They let construction workers walk into the convenience store and walk straight back out again with a rotisserie chicken. Unchecked. No stopper for the cashier. Very unfortunate. Vazo has a big amount of work to do here versus construction workers. This should have been a game in the bag here, but there is no aggression from this squad in the late game. I love the 2-2 split, but since then they've been very quiet. It's like the blood drained from them.
He needs to go center zone now. He needs to go center zone. I think he's dotting up to a degree. Gets in the vehicle, but
no nothing.
He's got no smokes, no heavy util. All he can do is try and lose the play and try and get one of the peaks. Goes for some hard cover here. Vard peekaboos over the top. Now sees the car. Now they're kind of understanding where they're going to be. Is it going to be a flash and push with the car? Construction workers, though, one of the top tier teams we've got in the cup leaderboard. They're trying to do anything they can just to get the information. There you go. They've seen him now. He peeked through the little driver's window, and now they're going to look to launch forward. Here comes the barrage. It's a 1-2, but is it a 1-2 and done? No, the bus, well, the Pico bus holds out for a little bit longer.
Almost runs over his teammate there. Unfortunately, guys, it is our ringing. He doesn't come away with the chicken dinner. He's certainly coming away with tinnitus after this one. Also, sent to the side. More flash being sent through. This man is stunned.
Stunned for days. The sledgehammer will hit. The construction workers will bag the final blow. No slack. Well, they take no slack from the leaderboard as they get a clean sweep from kills, damage, and assists. But we have to talk about Starry Skies. They had the opportunity for the stars to align to find the second win on the day. But unfortunately for them, they didn't apply the pressure to the construction workers and they slammed their way through for a victory here in match number 4.
Ooh, yeah, it's a big whiff. It's a big whiff towards the end, unfortunately. Didn't enjoy it. Again, in the situations where you have the high ground, right? You own like that center mound where you're the one looking over the top. You can't give them that much space. And again, it's also sort of a bad tracking on the kill feed there where you see them not go through and you should really be able to know that that's likely a solo on that side, or at least scout it, you know, just zoom around the vehicle, get a quick bit of information. You don't have to fully commit. Once you know, oh, it's just one guy and he's trying to res, then you can just go with the back of it. Because in that situation, you'd expect those players to be pushing up if they were a 2-man. The fact they don't means that it's likely one player alive and one player knocked. I think Starry Skies just have a big issue of no initiative in that endgame.
It's not like they got the kill feed tracker either, right? They could have quickly looked. And you're right, they just didn't apply the pressure. And I kind of get to the same conclusion you do, is it's there. I think the one drop there, even if they thought it was 1 or they were still second guessing it's a 2, why didn't they play the high ground? Why didn't they stop the ability for them to kind of escape the trap that they were stuck in? But construction workers, never to be underestimated. They do find themselves, it's a 17-point game for them. 7 kills, not the big kill leaders. No slack, bag 11. But Baldini find themselves with a big high game with a 10 kills as well.
Yeah, I just think for Construction Works, they're just as surprised as we were when they were able to make that rotate and not take a single shot or anything their way. I think it's curious. It's very, very curious. Looking over towards Baldini, though, they have been very aggressive today, and I think that's required, honestly. Looking at Baldini from the past, it's just been a lot of, I don't want to say nothing, but I'm glad that they're putting more emphasis on the kill points this time around. Like, we want to go out on a limb here. We want to just try and dominate inside the lobby a little bit more. Yes, we're going to not favor the placement points as much, but we need to get used to fighting. And I think that's a smart thing to do. And I think it's what's going through a lot of teams' head. I would say right now there's only in fact, let's say only 2 teams that fully have figured out their play style, and that is Team Nemesis and Construction Workers. Those are the only ones. I think Jogo Bonito in the future are going to have to adapt. I think they have figured out their playstyle. Whether or not it's going to work in the future, I don't know. But they keep proving me wrong anyway. So I can't really comment too much on that. But yeah, I would say that those are the only 2 teams that have figured it out. And everyone else is just still trying to work through the problems, right? They're in the shop at the moment. They are underneath the vehicle and they're trying to figure out what's leaking.
Let's look at the total leaderboard of all of our games. As I said, that was the penultimate game, so one more left. But 41, 41, 41. Ghetto Gang, Team Nemesis, and No Slack driving their way forward. Not too far behind for the others, so again, one game and done. The big surprise for me, I don't want to talk too much about Yo because they're down the leaderboard. I didn't expect it to be. But they are down there in 16th place. Someone has to be 16th place. But that last game, no tack. I want to talk about no tack. Why? Because they had that drop. They were out there from the plane. They claimed the center of the zone. And we always knew it was going to come back that way, but unable to capitalize up on all the teams crashing in. They teched out the last game with only 1 point, putting them now on 21 in 10th.
Yeah, again, I think no tack team is just, they're struggling. They are struggling. And it's hard to say. It's the same thing with, to be honest with Yo. We know those players are very good, but right now it's not looking great. There is definitely a problem there, and I would love to know what's going on inside the team's head at the moment, because it's unfortunate it's not working out the way they might like. But I think for Construction Worker, for Yo, sorry, it definitely needs a big change of pace next week, or at least a big change of pace in this last game. Otherwise, it's looking a little bit scary. It's looking a bit scary for a team that is so stacked on players.
I think they're enough in the first couple of weeks, and we will obviously review that after the last game because we are getting the plane ready and the it off the runway. So we will come back to that a bit later. Yeah, it's a change. I think it's working. I think it's not. For me, Yo are getting caught on some rotations. I think you highlighted it, that compound that SNK was sitting at. That should have been maybe the target, but they're trying to kind of sneak their way through. Yeah, sort of west side, and we could see them a little bit higher up. They were fighting. Maybe they just didn't have the information. I don't believe what was in front of them, and it's unfortunate. It's the PUBG way that No Slack, etc., sort of position themselves up. But you do go back to that compound and go, why didn't you crash into that compound? Why didn't you make a bit more of an aggressive start and a bit more of a Hail Mary, as you said? Because you've got nothing else to play for. Why not just play for some hard cover?
Yeah, I get it. It's hard, right? Because I think even if they managed to get over towards that western side, it's a losing spot you're going for. You're going for a losing spot. I think with that compound, the Skies eventually rocked over towards, and they were able to do that because there's so many buildings there. It's smaller than Gatka, but operates in a similar way. You can't hold all of Gatka. You have to play all 4 sides, which means either the center's open or the edges are open. And you saw from the amount of firepower they're putting over towards that northwest side that the eastern side was free. Sorry, Sky has identified that. Again, I think for Yo, what is clear to me at least is that there's a lot of overthinking going on, and I don't think it's because they're a bad team. I think that they are overthinking this lobby. I think they just need to be a bit more. Let's just go. That looks like a good spot. Let's go there and just let the rest of the game play out. I mean, the amount. Let's be real, because they've done a lot of creative things, and I think a lot of them are unnecessary. The E pickup over towards the north side, you get James there, and then with Daisy chaining over towards the warehouse, let's just send us a 4. Let's just go as a 4 to the warehouse. Screw the rules. Let's just go across. Screw
the rules. Go old school. I don't know. I like the overthinking. I'll go the other side of the fence.
Oh, that's fine.
I like their play. That's why we're here. We've got to do a bit of to and fro. I like what they're playing. I can't deny that. Yeah, You could be right. You generally could be right. Maybe they're overcomplicating quite a simple solution. It's easy for us to say because we can see top down.
Absolutely.
See all the pieces of the puzzle on the chessboard in front when they're locked in. But it's difficult. I think their game style is technical. Like, I can't hide anything behind that because PWD is such a great mind. He knows every dip and crevice he can. Maybe they're just trying to figure out the kind of TPP lay of the land and they haven't quite got it. But then I think go back to second guess that. They're looking for the scrim, look at everything they're coming through. They are strong contenders. They kind of check in,
absolutely
get the kills,
do.
check out and get to the cup.
Fantastic team.
I just want to see them get more points, especially at this last stage, because a team which I'll be wanting to go through, see for the qualifiers and the all-star lineup, you'd expect it. So, where's he? There's one more map though. We are going to be going to Erangel and we are going back old school, so maybe that technicality might favour them in the final map of the day.
Yeah, it's just a frustrating one. I think we're both big fans, but it is a frustrating one. I think that eventually we've got to come to the conclusion that something's got to change, but we just don't know what. And I think that that's further exemplified by the fact that we can't agree, which is
good.
fine.
I like
which
it.
is
I
good.
like it,
yeah, it's good. It's good. You could be totally right. I could be totally wrong, and I think that would be absolutely a very viable possibility in this situation.
We're just covering all bases, Blank. What are you talking about? I do 50% and you do 50%. That way, between the two of us, we're 100% right all the time. Anyway, I can tell you,
all right,
we can be right.
Yeah, okay.
Silver lining, mate. Silver lining all the time. One thing I tell you we can write for, it is the final game, though, of our cup. It is week number 3, the final opportunity for these teams to put points on the board. And it is coming in from an Erangel, though. Flight path for this one, though, is coming in from the southwest. It is going up to a northwest, so it's not the best flight path. I feel like we started really strong with equal fair flight paths, and now we're down to the chaos. Today is going to be game number 5.
Absolutely. From the southwest, like you said, up towards the north side of Severny, so we're likely going to see Team Nemesis dropping over there, but they're not going to stay for long, as per usual. But in this final game, there are a few teams that need to do absolutely well to get themselves back up towards the top side of the leaderboard. Exhal has been disappointing today. They weren't able to get in last week, and they haven't been able to get a lot done here either. I think for Exhal, there's been these moments of, and you know what? I actually think you described it perfectly earlier on, Mark. You were like, they're a little bit hit or miss. They're everything or nothing team, and that is correct right now. Where I feel like late game they make some decent rotations to get towards a good position, and then they just go, let's throw it all away. Right.
But it's like they're unsettled with their position. They're definitely a team. Right. And it is a Turkish style of play from what I've seen. And again, some of these players have moved over. They're like compounds. Get to a compound, sit tight, lock it down. That's their game style, right? And you look at a TPP format and go, that plays into the Turkish style, right?
Ooh, okay.
But I feel like they get itchy feet and they go, oh, no, maybe that compound's better for us. Then we'll send that way. Or maybe that compound's better. And they throw it all away. Well, let's see what we can throw away here, though, as it is Starry Skies versus the construction workers. And Gustav open things up with the first point on the board, though, as silence is confirmed out.
Yeah, this is over towards Primorsk, and this fight needs to finish quickly because this is a hateful circle.
Oh my God, let's get to the circle.
Southwest. That is nasty.
These guys are in, guys. They are in on the outside edge, and it does go down towards the military. We have about, 40% land, 60% water, give or take, for the final game. GG's.
Easily military circle, right? In my eyes, easily military circle. I think for Yo, who are currently on the western bridge, they could probably move across real quick. They're going to get sort of looted up a little bit before they start moving. There you go, you can see it. Avert your eyes for a second. Oh, do look at it, but it's going to burn your retinas out because that is disgusting.
Do they go across, or do they try and get kills?
They could do. But again, I think if you're Yo, you're looking for a late game finish. For once.
Or go out with an explosive bang.
They can do that. They can do that too. But it's last game. You don't want those last game blues, man. Let's at least get to a top 8.
Well, with the flight path, it's going to force a lot of these teams closer together a lot sooner. Storm and Request rotating their way around. SNK, though, on 10 points at the moment. Storm and Request on 11. They are right next to each other. Poppy, who played well, actually, last game, has to hold out on their own. As the rest of them now is working their way closer. Sexy brings the Bolty just to look into the soul of these players as Poppy swaps over to the S12K.
I like that hairstyle. I need that hairstyle.
Next week, week 4. Just saying.
Yeah, I want to grab it. Oh, no, not real life. Damn. No,
Okay.
I mean, in game.
Just saying.
Yeah, I'm all about the green and black. It's cool.
I don't know why I'm leaning in my chair like I can peek around the corner. It's not going to happen. Puppy, I was actually leaning them at the It's hard. The left feet goes to the right. Hits the straight. Hits the third shot. Hits the fourth. And it's 4 times. A charm. Gets through. Oh, kick strike. One more shot would have done. Now charges forward. Goes down for the drop spot. Oh, pedicure though. Literally touch the toes and say goodbye. And Poppy looking for 2, but the Molotov will drop right on top of Poppy's head and will fall as well. What a play!
He's alive, dude. He's alive. He's taking himself out with that Molotov. These two inside the building. Unfortunately, helmet gets taken off. Sent into the woods.
Oh no!
This is naughty. This is not good.
I don't know. Move over. I want to get cover in the tree. No, but I'm knocked. You need to res me. No, I need to get safety. Still a request. Final player. Final charge. Looking to get some more kills on the board, though. It's going to do 1 and 2. Gets the reload on. And now it should be down to a 1v1, potentially. Just res it back on, but we'll fly back over to the other side. So construction workers look to get some high ground here. Starry Skies looking to try and rotate their way around. They are down bodies, but look at Vard's position. Vard's up on that north side. The moment Cappy starts shooting, I think he will start closing in.
Yeah, the annoying thing here for construction workers is that last game it was fantastic that Starry Skies wasn't doing anything. Here, you'd be mad annoyed, right? You just want the fight to start because both these teams have got to move. They've got to get going. You want to pick up the boats and rotate round towards that south coast and just edge your way into Sosnovka. It's frustrating more than anything for construction workers that they've got to make the first move a lot of times here.
They've made another move and they've got another one down. Cool, calm, and collective. SNK clear the fight. They've got recall over in Quarry, and Quarry is clear, so they will move a little bit towards the east. And I'd expect that team not to play towards Military Island and maybe be one of the latter teams that are coming over. Rest of the teams are on the rotation as they are trickling their way down towards Military Island. No tag teams working their way east of Gatka. They will continue to rotate their way down. We still have No Slack, South Georgia Pool, Winnex in North Georgia Pool, Ghetto Gang in Zaki. I think they're praying to find an emergency pickup. Nemesis normal drop for them. Wars, etc. Baldina all going to go. So lots of teams having to rotate in. Jog Benito are holding up the east bridge here blank. Unfortunately for them, I can't see many teams rotating that way. So it's a bit of a roll of the dice, and this time cards might not be coming up.
Yeah, a lot of E pickups coming through now. Good stuff just go down to Cappy. Mine's one of them, but that's likely to be refragged at some point. It's an annoying standoff going on for construction workers at the moment. In a boxing fight that just refuses to end. Both teams with bruised faces. We'll see what happens though. You're right. Ghetto Gang is just, they're looking for an E pickup. They're desperate for one.
Yeah.
Whether they're going to find one or not is a different story. Vizard taking a very early approach over towards Sosnovka early in the game. They crossed the Eastern Bridge and they've just been wrapping round on the southern roads or towards Sosnovka main military base. No one's really picking up C block right now. Likely something that they'll look towards if the circle moves back off towards the east. But I'm sort of expecting like the western ridge finish. You know, the Classico. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
There's one worry that's bubbling away in my mind. If it plays towards the northeast and it holds onto that west bridge and that holds onto the north side, yes, I still think we're going to go towards military. I don't think there's enough land mass there, but I feel like
bridge
the
finish
zone could delay. Yeah, you know that way it just ends just south of it.
Yeah.
I do worry. But it's all going to be kind of this next zone. Obviously, for those that don't know, the first couple of zones are random. Doesn't really factor in things like unplayable terrain. Obviously, from 4 it will do. So we'll see it play. So if we do see a random push back towards the northeast, that's going to be catastrophic for these teams. As we get the eyes in the sky, the bridge we're talking about. If it plays back this way and holds that north side, it could be dangerous for some of these teams. And a team like Yo, they need to get points on.
Yeah, I mean, they've picked up they're already picking up kills as well, which was Stratos, as Gene's finding that one first pick things off, which is great, honestly, on Sosnovka. Finding any kills early on really does make your position a little bit more comfortable. They're playing towards those compounds sat across from each other on the roadside, which I think is a perfect position to play. does have that opportunity to wrap back round towards the ridge side or even over towards that northeast, where there's some more of those compounds. But as time goes on, more and more Sosnovski's get filled up, to the point where it's at a brim. Very, very difficult to hold on to a kind of position like that. Balls though wrapping down. Said they were dropping out early. This has been a nightmare fight for both.
Nightmare fight. Vex denies line of sight. Uses the smoke to his advantage. Now he's able to stack up against the wall. It's him and Philip remain. Starry Sky's going to get moving as well. Arrow's going to be doing the same as he's going to work. Use the buildings as cover. And Philip, I think he's just trying to keep an eye and make sure he's not getting shot on the right hand side, but it won't be long before they can hear the double footsteps. Now they know it's going to be a bit of a head to head. 2 versus 2. There's still no teams actually have played in towards Primorsk at the moment. The team playing towards Quarry. That's going to be dangerous though. There's a good off angle. Finds 1, finds 2. Now it's down to 1, but he does get a cap as he comes down. Nice. It's a 1 versus 1. The Panther is on its way in. Oh, it hits the door frame. And the door frame's made of metal. He peeks. He scores. God. And Nailip though will keep construction workers in as Starry Skies, like a shooting star in the sky. They've come and they've gone.
Oh, what a stressful fight for construction workers that was. Pulling out the Panzerfaust towards the end of it for Starry Skies. Doesn't quite hit. Bounces off the indestructible door frame. And I'm wheezing because this next circle really is also just as disgusting. Drops right back down towards the southeast side. 50-50 landmass to water. Wild stuff right now.
It does mean a full commit. I'll take this over the bridge. I'll take this over the bridge because you get teams delaying. This is going to have to be a little bit more of a full send for some of these teams. Some of these teams are on the outside edge. They have to try and get as many points as they can. For the Mad, while he gets the rolling shot, Dante will fall here. There's that zone. And unfortunately for Joga Benito, it plays to their favour. Teams now who are coming late, who haven't found the emergency pickup, think to go for the safer side, which is going to be the East Bridge. And Joga Benito, they are refusing to move blank.
Yeah, it's typical Joga Benito, right? You don't expect this very often, but this is going to happen. You think most teams would be making their way in, trying to find a more comfortable position in the circle, because it does not get fun when you play against the wires, the fences over on Sosnovka military base. But for Joga Benito, they want the kills, and they're going to get the kills, even if it kills them in the process. As Baldini starts to make the cross, Simon laying in wait, Slavin first to face.
Old school. Let the first car go through. Sunflower gets caught. The car now right in the middle. The catch was at the top there. He got a little bit discombobulated. He wants to try and get the last one. Kato has to jiggle his way out. And he's sent back in as they go north. If they can reset, they might find the opportunity to do the same for Team Nemesis.
You know, I actually like this from Joga Benito because I think a lot of other teams might have waited for the last car to push through before they took shots, but they don't want anyone crossing the bridge here. They don't want anyone getting in. For them, it's actually way more beneficial that teams get caught out on that northern side of the bridge, forced to fight one another like they are right now. Melman fighting up against Baldini. The more teams they can cut out on this eastern side, the less teams they have to play against going in. They know all their oppositions over on the west. So for Joga Benito, I like that they took early shots there. They were happy just with the 2 kills. Very, very good stuff. They do have WinX though, down towards the southeast side.
Oh.
You're not killing this though.
No. Again, Team Nemesis, they're a team coming from the military over. You got a question like, why the hell is he rotating back the other way? Edit goes down for zone. No slack. Giving this team no slack to get out. I don't think for construction workers, as Vex will finish off Nailip, they know now there is no exit. Maybe they will die in their sword. If no slack want to commit, I think Vex will be waiting with open arms.
Yeah, again, for construction workers, it's an annoying one. It's like they wanted that fight to end as fast as possible versus Starry Skies, but Starry Skies were just bunkering up the entire time. It's a really annoying one where if you are Starry Skies, you want to live out as long as possible. For construction workers, they know they have to finish that fight early if they want a chance in this game. And it's just mutual destruction. Kind of a struggle here. But the boat is found for no slack, and they're going to move out. We'll see if Vex takes any shots here. Unlikely, but we'll just grab the blue chips. I think he's likely going to sacrifice his life here just to get the rest of his team in.
He'll pick up the rotation. He finished Nailip to get the chip quicker because he wanted to get him back in before the recall. So really good play for them. Obviously, Sometimes those little things will be a change. So that's the difference between them fighting as a 3, maybe compared to a duo at the end. The zone obviously now giving up the water. No Slack can move over. Ghetto Gang will take public transport now as they'll be working their way towards Novo, but that's going to the far side. And with phase number 3, 38 seconds to go. Do you jump and swim now and take the chance? I don't think they've got the option. I think they have to have their cars in Novo.
As the players coming back into the lobby here, and construction workers likely going to drop down towards
Southeast holding. What?
Yeah. There's a lot of annoying teams. Well, I don't want to say this like it's it's a fool's errand, but there is quite a few of those moments where you're like, you shouldn't do this, but it is funny that you're doing it.
They got nothing to do. They're qualified. They've qualified no matter what. Right?
I
know. Yeah, take it. I'll take it. They are going to hold up, and Team Nemesis are going to clash. Ghetto Gang going right underneath him now as well. Did they see him? They've got the BRDM there. They have spotted him. A little bit of a spray. Get rid of the tire at least. Melman gone. And he pulled the trigger for him.
Alright, so we're going to try and get across. Jogger Benito taking down another team that does not matter.
There's a Panzer. There is a Panzer. Noddy. He just needs to get the shots on the BRDM.
Oh, nice.
There's one. They're clashing into each other though. Noddy finds himself some additional cover. Now he gets for the Panzer. Now he's going for it. Oh my god! What a shot, Noddy! 1, 2, just damage for the third, and Team Nemesis falling apart and tapping out 30th place. It's ensured destruction. It's all for fun, but Noddy was a driving force there. The spearhead of attack for Jogger Benito.
Yeah, I mean, for Jogger Benito, again, like I said, that they've cleared out the entirety of the eastern side of the map. Like, now they can move in comfortably. Jeez. They had everything planned just in case a BRDM came across. They had a Panzerfaust. Yeah, Jogger Benito's a weird team. You never know what they're going to do next. It could be like world-class gameplay into crashing onto a compound that no one cares about. Anyway, lovely finish, a lovely park, and go here from the ferry.
Literally
wonder how much that ticket costs.
This is going to hurt.
They got to move on.
Even Jogger Benito said, "Now I would give up the bridge now." Even now, sending it.
If they win this game, I'm an idiot. Basically, is what I'm going to say.
No. You are perfect in my eyes, and you're not an idiot. It's just some high IQ level that we just are not part of, right? It's some like godly play that we couldn't factor in. I think the zone's going to the normal location, and Jogger Benito find themselves now out of the blue for the first time in a long time.
That knock on the back end there, Kristalny. I think I saw one player get knocked there. And Jogger Benito moving in. They are taking a couple of shots their way for the time being. Yo playing the buildings. I think they've got a good spot. They're hoping, praying for a northern shift on the next circle. If they can get that, then Yo's looking real good. But you are right, Mark. You called it earlier. GTG got to get a move on. It was going to start tickling, and then it was going to start prickling, and then it was going to start stabbing. And here, the Ghetto Gang, they are out in the cold.
He's going to have to now get meds. I'm assuming there'll be a jammer pack. It's mostly spent. No tag team now. Find themselves with some nosy neighbours, which I don't think they expected to come in so late. Lucky enough for them, they are ahead of this. They are moving the vehicles. And O'Connell's, I think, knows he's a little bit further out. He has to get the car shifting as he will lose momentum. And then tag team's in the final position, which would be good. Just have to tighten up now.
No tag team watching out over towards that airfield, like you're saying, over towards Jogger Benito. Construction workers taking shots over towards them, actually, from that south side. They are taking a couple back in return, though. Lots of separate areas of fighting going on, and kind of isolated areas as well, because you've got the airstrip, which a lot of teams are going to fight over, but that's going to be more isolated fighting. You've got Yo playing over towards those buildings. You just have about sight lines down towards that south side. You've got SNK, Hive, who are playing in a completely different planet to everyone else on the other side of the ridge. And then No Slack, who have decided that they want to live the rest of their days in peace. So they're on the southwest compound.
Someone gets an opening. I just can see this continuing to roll. It seems to be rolling in the ways of. Shots will come through. Rafa finds one. He finds two. Not even slamming. Are going to fall though. KH, well, going to launch in the barrage attack. This is going to be a utility dump that's going to come through. Finds one, but now finds himself right in the open field. Baron and Rafa gets another knock on the board.
Again, that looks like a bad play from Cristalni, but if they don't expect him to do that, he gets across and he takes the shots in. Again, I just don't think Jogo Bonito has heard of a thing called fear before in their entire lives.
Fear is weakness. Never. Never.
It really is. It really is to them. When he's across open ground like that, it's just, he's crazy. But again, if they don't check that, he gets value out of it.
They're out. 12th place, claim the kills, and they tap themselves out. The Spartans have fallen. That's all I can say for them. They hold on. They hold on for long. But they left it too late to get themselves in towards zone. Here comes the zone shift now. And phase number 4 becomes phase 5. Comes down towards that south side. Here, construction workers in a good spot. This obviously needs to draw their attention towards that northeast corner because teams like Yo and No Tag Team potentially have to think about if they're going to come in. For Yo, they had the option to rotate around. But it's got to try and find the information. As James is scouting out on that east side already.
Yeah, I think for Yo right now, if I was them, probably just wrapping down towards the south side, scouting out that building that sits on the western side of the road, and then you hold out the rest of Viz as they attempt to move across, because they're fighting their tag team right now, and there's no way a team that's playing that north east side on the airstrip doesn't have an outpost in that building that sits just across the road. So yeah, I think this is just a bit of a time for Yo to really put the money where their mouth is, just make that rotate down.
Or it's out or a crash, and try and work out that actually this is on a split. But again, we have that information. James did go for a scout for information. He got caught. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a bit of a gamble now for the team. Maybe it's just a play. PWD.
Oh, James went down.
Tightening back up. Yeah, James went down on the rotation. So he went round on that east side, and
I don't know what he was scouting.
Found him. He was in the smoke wall, but I think he was trying to work out if a team's stored there, or maybe if he can rotate their way out to come into more of a southeast position.
Yeah, maybe.
Whatever happens.
High IQ.
They've got caught.
Yeah, I think you have to make that gamble, though, in my opinion. Because you haven't heard any shots from that player on that building from this. Which, if he's not taking any shots, then he's not trying to take shots towards that 3-man that sat on the northeast side fighting with no tag team. Which would lead you to believe that maybe that is a 4-man squad together. But where else to Yo go? I think they have to make that crash.
You know, that's all they've got now. No slack though. They're coming in the sort of west side. They've got an opening slightly, but they have a bleed. And the bleed, unfortunately, is coming in from boards and also coming in from high. The high ground taking full advantage of them. The smoke now starting to dissipate as it runs dry. They have to get across that road. I can't see no more from No Slack, but what an outstanding day for them. Currently 42 points. Might be able to eke out one more, maybe, but it's all down to this rotation.
Yeah, again, like you say, No Slack, fantastic day today. Kovalevi last alive for the team, dropping the M79 smokes down, but takes a heavy tag, and that should be their day over. But they did hit the 40-point mark. You know, 42 points. Looks good to them. Happy to see it. PWD is down. Got knocked to the blue zone there, actually. Yeah. That's rough. That is really rough. He's down. You got to abandon him, dude.
Leave him. Michael, get in the car. A little scout jump now as they head. These are smokes just on the outside edge. It's just obviously telling they haven't got the information in front of him here. I just think it's a bit of a YOLO. With no play into their name, no pun intended. Nedix, Michael, just got to stack up and go. Get in the car, roll up. Here come the meds. Smoke, give them some cover. They're going to lose some momentum. It is going to be one target, and that should be the target. This is where I think they should have taken early. Aren't two going to be there? They go for the right position. They go around the other side. Get ready for Nate. Comes out. Nate does come out. Nate goes back in. Nedix round the outside. He gets caught though on the splits. The Nate will finish off Michael, and it is done. I'd argue to say 3 there might have been a different outcome.
4 there would have been a different outcome. Absolutely. It's so no, we were calling that 5 minutes ago. I think you make.
We know.
I think we absolutely do know, Mark. But at the same time, that was their only option. Yeah, I think that we haven't seen And it's frustrating because...
Where's he going? Where are you
don't-
going with that?
he's
He missed the whole
wrapped all the
building,
way
Rapper. He got paid, he got himself no tag. Explosive ending for the Italians, though, as they park the car upright. Yeah, that was a thing for Rafa. I think the idea was to hit the building, but wasn't going to be the case. And they left an anchor player, but for no more.
Yeah. All I'm trying to say is trying to be positive. Is I think for Yo, they need to realize they're a really strong team, and I think that they win those 4v4s, but they keep putting themselves in situations where they're playing 2v4. Yeah, I wish that happened a lot sooner. I think they win that fight 100 times out of 10.
I think they're a team to go back to the replays now and log back in. Boar's trying to extend out, and they actually do get the better construction work with a little bit of help from the rest of the lobby. But we go for a top 4. Phase number 6 top 4, by the way, with hybrid 4. Well, they got 4, but 2 of them are just taking a little bit of a break. Vis able to defend the push with a 2-1 split. They're back to 3, and X-How are in a position.
Got a compound.
And they got compounds. They just need to defend it when Vis want to come across. Oh, Dante's got a bite, though. Let's go. No, he's gone.
He was trying to pelt it. He was trying to pelt it. It's not meant to be. Paul's having, I would probably say, first good game of the day. First real good game of the day right now. 8 kills on side. I think this is Boars' first time in the cup as well. So it's a big step up in terms of difficulty coming through from the scrim. So adjusting to that has not been easy.
It's, good hold from them. That south side was free. They flexed out and taken on construction workers. They've got a little ridge to try and play. I'll worry about this next shift. If it does play again towards that sort of northeast position, it's going to be difficult. Have they got the vehicles? Nope, it comes into their arms. They're loving arms. As we play south, it's going to be down to the other teams to work out. Boars will clear up high if they're up now towards 10. We go down to a top 3. Vis have to try and crash onto X-How, and it is down to Boars. 11 kills, and it is the opportunity for them to convert this game out as a win.
Yeah, I think for Boars right now, this could be a killer game for them. There's still 5 more kills on the cards for them as well. If they can clean up house here on forward, catch the players from Viz as they cross, don't allow X-How to pick up those kills. And this will be a real redeemer of a game for them going into final match of the day for Boars.
So to get defensive. Boars need to find an opportunity now and time it well. It's an open train for them to get across, but they have to catch this mid-fight. Always though jumps out the Mad, maybe with an underarm. No, he goes for an overarm. Haynes actually runs underneath, but ranges into the loving arms of an orb. The Mad, no helmet. That's number 2 for them. Another knock will come through. Okay, will go through in towards the smoke. Doesn't know the guys are not there.
I feel at this point in time, if you're Boars, you kind of want to push up, right?
Have to.
Yeah, you want to cut out all possibility of X-How getting out from this position. Set the vehicles up. I guess they're going to have that first outpost in Marchel, who's moving up over towards some hard cover. You really want to suffocate X-How here. Prevent them from leaving, getting any space. And again, you also want to get more kills off the back of this, because maybe they pick up R2N here.
Good night.
Yeah,
outstanding
nice
grenade. Oh my god. Arm post it. Royal Mail delivery. Next day special. Now he knows where the other one is. He's going to get caught. Boar's going to be there. The Mad will step out. Don't forget, he has no helmet. He's going to try and extend over. They had the information that Boar's trying to close in. Not to go for the res. He's going to try and go for the peak. Wait for the players to come out, as he knows it is coming in. He clears the fence line. And another nade will come back through as the Mad steps out. He's trying to take the fight one at a time, but he's on fire, baby! The Boars, they take the final bite of the game. It's a big game. It's a 23-point victory as they will claim the kills, the damage, and more importantly, blank the assists.
Yeah, it's a very nice redemption game for Boars at the end of this one. Who still confused me why it's a wolf. Oh, that's a logo. Where's the boar?
No, it's putting fear into X-How. That's what it is. Taking a bigger chunk of the lobby. That's what we want to see. That is the final game, though. Match number 5 done, and it was good to see every game with a different win. Starry Skies had the opportunity to take 2, but not today, unfortunately.
No, there's been a lot of weird gameplay throughout today, I would say, as well. I think some teams just not having enough confidence, in themselves as well, in terms of their own gameplay. And a lot of games where we saw teams really being outstanding. I think that on a positive note right now, No Slack, really, really impressive. Very, very impressive. IXC should be super proud of himself today. I think he's got to give himself a pat on the back. What a fantastic day from him. His team should be very, very proud of him as well. Viz also, not a bad day from them. A lot of squeaky games with 2 players, but usually those are the games that kind of count towards when you get to those latter ends in the year, in terms of those big tournaments where you're 2 players and you're trying to go for a salvation game to get you into a top 3. Those games are really important, and Viz has shown us that they can absolutely make them happen.
Yeah, good team, good lineup, strong team, and a strong lineup, let me put it that way. Here's our total leaderboard though, as we will lock these points in and send them over to the overall cup leaderboard, but construction workers will claim the top, and that means they're going to add to their lead 164 points. Team Nemesis, Jogo Benito, it was full memes though at the end, but again, why? Because they're up on 3, as Jogo Benito ended on 115, 149 for Team Nemesis, arguably all in qualification spots right now.
Yeah, No Slack getting up towards 4th place as well. Hive just about squeezing themselves back in towards 5th at 85 points. And then we drop off a little bit there from Viz on 73, Exhal on 67. Ghetto Gang with a great day today, get themselves in towards 8th place. It's weird though, for Ghetto Gang, I feel like I need to watch more of them. Because there's a fair few times where they were able to sweep in towards the circle unimpeded quite a few times there, Mark.
Yeah, this is now, I suppose, this is week number 3 done and dusted. It now means that we're over the halfway point of the cup. So if you haven't contended, you need to get yourself in and signed up, because week 4 and week 5, if you do win the day out, it does mean you are actually going to go straight through to the regionals, and you could be there, that wild card team pick. A couple of other teams, though, obviously falling down slightly, which is definitely worth mentioning, and especially the ones that haven't made it here, like the Mythos. So again, they're going to be a team that's going to have to reset and go again, but you need to get yourself signed up and in the lobby.
Yeah, you do. Well, thank you very much for joining us here for, and I'm going to do it properly this time, week 3 of PEC. Okay, you know, we're here, it's good, the cups have been fantastic, we've had a load of really, really fun games today, we've had a load of really fun games over the past 3 weeks, so make sure you do tune back in for week 4 and 5, because there's a little bit more on the line for those 2 as well, Mark.
It is a little bit more on the line, but we have no more line left to give here as we are ending week number 3. We've reeled it all in. As I said before, make sure you sign yourself up on the website. We'll get links into chat and get yourself in and involved. If you've got what it takes, get yourself through to the cups and find yourself potentially as a wild card. 2 more weeks to go. I have to thank PUBG and PUBG Esports for setting this one up, and more importantly, to the outstanding production team that is in, catching all of the action. That's it from us, though. We will see you most probably in chat, though, as we've got PGS finals tomorrow, final day though on the main stage, and then we'll be back for all of this again next Saturday. We'll see you guys later. Peace.